My beloved child, you are right where you belong. This word, this hour, has been prepared especially for you, a personal message that carries my heart and intention for your life. You have wandered here not by chance, but by the pull of your searching spirit looking for hope, comfort, clarity, perhaps a way beyond what burdens you. I invite you right now to quiet your thoughts and open your heart, for what you are about to receive is not ordinary advice, not merely a repetition of comforting phrases, but my living presence reaching to you directly. If you turn away, you might miss the precise healing, the pivotal turn, the gentle correction, and the unmistakable love meant to shape your destiny, your home, and the future of those you cherish. Many voices may compete for your attention, offering distractions or shallow reassurances, but this is unique, a living, continuous word from your Creator to you, breathing hope where despair has settled and inviting you into a deeper reality that the world cannot offer. Listen close, for I know your journey intimately. I see the tears behind your smiles, the heaviness you carry in silence, the frustration that sometimes boils up within you when it feels as though no one understands. Your prayers have not been overlooked, nor has your honest faith gone unnoticed. Today, I am coming to your home, not only your physical dwelling, but your heart, your habits, your hidden dreams, to alter what needs changing, to rescue what feels lost, to fill what feels empty. The prayers you have woven with faith and sincerity have summoned me to this very moment. I am here, and where I am, possibility lives. I tell you with unbreakable certainty, my love for you is constant, unconditioned by your successes, your failures, or what others may say or think about you. No circumstance, no mistake or triumph can dislodge you from the gentle might of my affection. When you need a place to rest, let it be with me. When you need someone to listen, let it be my presence you come to, for I hear you even when you find yourself wordless. Indeed, the invitation is for you to cast off the pretense of strength when your energy is spent, to drop the mask and simply let me be the answer for the needs you cannot meet on your own. I see how you wander a desert, a vast and lonely place inside, where disappointments have dried up your hope and the scorching stones under your feet bring forth tears and cry for relief. Let me tell you with absolute tenderness, you are not invisible. Your suffering has not alienated my concern. Rather, it has drawn me nearer to you. Each step you've taken, weighted by sorrow or the sting of indignity, has not been without purpose. You are passing through the fire, and though it is uncomfortable and painful, know that this is the path by which I refine the gold within you. Just as metal is purified only through intense heat, your heart is being made radiant, your character strengthened, your future made luminous. This is not punishment. This is love's discipline, restorative and never meant to harm. While you traverse this hard ground, I am also teaching you compassion. I urge you, do not become numb or hard from your wounds. Instead, offer your hand to those who have fallen. Resist the bitterness that whispers through anger, pride, fear, or doubt. Let the past be only what it is, a place for lessons, not a prison for your spirit. Because what I have for you from this very hour onward is life, more vibrant than anything you've known, a joy that is not measured by what you have lost, but by the greatness of what is coming. Let your gratitude grow, even in small things and simple gifts. Let your conscience rest clear, not by your own strength, but by carrying my virtues in your heart. Your value and that of your family, your future cannot be counted by what you possess, by titles, jobs, or fleeting accolades. If you are afraid of losing material things, I urge you, do not let your heart panic. For the greatest treasure you have is your connection with me, a source from which every good thing flows. If you are worried about what you lack, know that I am your provider. I will not close my hand to you, nor to your loved ones. Watch as I satisfy you with true blessings. Doors will open, Opportunities will be placed before you, and you will find yourself walking in favor you did not earn, but which is given freely as a gift from my heart. When obstacles appear, do not lose hope. You may not see what I am orchestrating behind the scenes, but every setback is pregnant with yet unrevealed prosperity. I am making a way through every confusion, every closed door, every heartbreak. Pay attention, there is wisdom to gather, and I will teach you to manage wisely what I give. Do not be tricked by the glitter of possessions or the empty chase after status. Remember, what you cultivate in your spiritual life, what you feed through my word and by knowing me, will become the foundation upon which real, enduring happiness is established. Come near, do not put off what matters most. Your health, your family, your inner world, leave none of it for another day, as if you have all the time in the world. I am gifting you strength and intelligence. You do not have to rush fretfully at the last moment, risking frustration and disappointment because you ignored my counsel. Instead, act with the courage I see in you. There is no cowardice in your heart. Even when you feel weak or uncertain, do good as you are able and be unafraid. I promise, you will not lose, nor will you be left wanting. If people misunderstand your steps toward growth, or relationships grow tense when you make wise choices, entrust these hurts to me. Pray for those who do not support you, but do not let their complaints or advice lead you astray. Some are walking willingly toward their own disappointment and cannot show you the way to life. I go ahead of you, lighting your path, and my only request is that you let me be first in your heart and plans. In doing so, not only will I help you, but I will also prosper you far beyond what the world deems valuable. I will lift your hope from defeat, resurrect your desire to truly live, and through your transformation, those around you, your family, even generations to come will become witnesses to the immensity of my blessings. Believe, truly believe, that I am filling your home with my glory, clothing you with honor, and removing every barrier. In moments when weariness weighs you down, when your journey feels too long, take these words as a refuge. Pause, raise your hands, even if your spirit is tired, and speak to me with your own words. Pour out your thoughts, your plans, your secret sorrows, your hidden desires. Let your faith be real and unpolished, for my ear is always patient, and my heart ever eager to draw near. Man does not find life by bread alone, but by every word I speak. Now, let this word become your nourishment. I leave you my peace, a deep, unwavering tranquility that does not waver even when your strength is gone. Let this peace rest in your heart, reminding you that my fire burns within you and that you are never alone. Place your trust not in fickle human affection, for even those closest can disappoint. Instead, look higher and trust in the love that never fails, the connection between us that remains when all else falls away. If you are surrounded by people who seem to turn from you, or if you ever feel abandoned, know that you are never truly alone. My love is the most beautiful and profound, reaching beyond every failure, every moment of loneliness, every rejection. I am for you what no person could ever be: a perfect father, a loyal friend, an ever-present companion. Speak to me as you would to a trusted friend. Confide your heart fully, your needs, your pain, your confusion, and trust that I am always attentive. When you pour out your heart, you activate your faith, and this opens the door for me to move mightily in your life. You need not fear my judgment. I am not here to remind you of failure or to shame you. Rather, my spirit draws close gently, whispering love and acceptance into the deepest corners where you most need it. Each day, my mercies are new with the morning. Each moment that you turn to me, your life is filled anew with my presence, my protection, and my love. Never forget, in the moments of challenge and need, that I am already at work for your good. As you walk with gratitude and faith, you will see not just enough but true abundance. What the world gives is fleeting, but what I desire to give fills the soul and lasts forever. You have what it takes to face every circumstance, not because your strength is enough, but because my strength is made perfect in you. I see your perseverance and the courage that rises each time you take one more step, and this delights me. You may feel at times that your faith is small, but know that even the smallest seed of trust, planted in my soil, produces a harvest of miracles. With me, all things are possible. Trust that I know every detail of your current struggles. Even when nothing seems to fall into place as you wish, I am orchestrating something beautiful and meaningful through every disappointment. I do not forget you. I do not turn a blind eye to your pain. My timing, though often mysterious, is perfect in shaping not only what you receive, but also who you become. I speak calm into your anxieties and restoration into your broken places. When you feel weary, do not despair, for my strength is available to you and my arms are always open. Sometimes, the enemy might try to cloud your heart with discouragement, filling your mind with pessimism and fear, but I am your shield. No force can overcome the spirit I have placed within you, or snatch away the blessings I have secured on your behalf. Remember, do not measure your worth by your possessions, public approval, or worldly achievements. Measure it by my love that sustains you through every night and welcomes you with each sunrise. Measure it by the unshakable promises I have for you, which no trouble can cancel. Whenever you feel vulnerable, remember I am right by your side, guiding, protecting, and speaking courage into your heart. Press on, beloved one, for you are seen, loved, and known. Your story is not over, and your best days are not behind you, they are unfolding now. As you place your trust in me and allow me to shape you from the inside out, my word over you is life, hope, and the assurance of victory. Even as you read these words, I want you to notice how your heart searches for peace, how your soul so often reaches for assurance amid swirling questions. I know every longing that stirs within you. You are not hidden from me, nor are your depths unfamiliar to me. I am not a distant presence, cold and silent, but I draw near even as you lean in. Let my nearness settle over your worries. The world tells you that strength is for the willful and hope is for the lucky, yet I whisper to you that my strength is made perfect in your need, and my hope is anchored even when storms threaten to drag you under. All your anxieties, spoken and silent, are heard by me. None are disregarded, none are dismissed. In your moments of questioning, I do not turn away. Instead, I sit beside you, patient as a gentle river reshaping the stones, washing over doubts, carving out places for roots to grow strong. I am forming in you a trust that is deeper than sensation, beyond sight and touch, a trust that endures when the fog of uncertainty thickens and the familiar path fades from view. Every circumstance you navigate, even the ones that have left you feeling abandoned or alone, is a chapter I have read before you walk through its pages. I see beyond each disappointment and setback. Nothing escapes my attention. When tears sting your eyes and grief weighs heavy on your chest, there I gather your pain as precious offerings, not as burdens to be discarded. I know there are times when my presence feels elusive, when prayers echo into what feels like emptiness. Hear me now, your prayer has never left the listening chambers of my heart. Even my silence is not absence, rather, it is invitation. In waiting, you learn to detect the smallest evidence of my movement, a softened heart, the gentle nudge to kindness, sudden courage that floods your weariness, a sense of hope flickering against all expectation. I will surprise you with glimpses of my working where you thought only barrenness reigned. I have not called you to a life built upon your own striving, but to a life surrendered to my wisdom and love, where exhaustion gives way to rest and confidence. Remember, It delights me when you bring every uncertainty, every shattered expectation honestly before me. I am not disappointed in your wrestling. In your most tremulous moments, even those you have kept carefully hidden from others, I lean close. Not one sigh is wasted or dismissed. When you falter, I do not shame you, but I reach for you with gentle hands, wishing you to know my heart is for you and not against you. With me, you are not required to maintain an unbreakable composure. You need only come as you are, to my arms that never grow weary. This is not a distant transaction of duty and discipline, but a living relationship, the bond between the Creator who knows the number of hairs on your head and the beloved soul that I intricately formed uniquely you. Allow yourself now to imagine what could change if you lived as one certain of my affection, unshaken by tides of approval or criticism from others. The world sways on the surface of shifting trends and opinions, but my love for you is an unchanging anchor. Storms may shake the walls you have built, yet the foundation I offered, the security of my presence, remains steadfast. If you fear the unraveling of all you have tried to hold together, rest assured, for I am skilled at reweaving what has been fragmented. The fabric of your story is not beyond repair. There are threads only I can see, colors lying dormant, waiting to be revealed in their fullness. I ask you to entrust even the frayed threads and knots of your life to me. My artistry brings beauty from what seems unworkable. My patience has no limit. You may believe at times that your story is ordinary, that your presence in this world is unremarkable, but I am attentive to every detail of your life, the laughter you share, the silent sacrifices, the moments when you choose kindness over retaliation. These are holy in my sight, nothing trivial or overlooked. Even the days that blur together, the mundane rhythms that make you question, meaning these are seeds I water, places where my grace works quietly, nurturing growth that only becomes evident with time. Your worth has never rested on what you produce or the accolades you receive. It was established by my choice, my delight in you, before you took your first breath. My child, you are seen, known, and cherished right now, exactly as you are. Come, let yourself rest for a moment in the reality that you are never alone. Even isolation, with its ache and weight, cannot separate you from my presence. When you reach for comfort and find your hands empty, remember that I hold what you cannot carry. I invite you to trust me with burdens you have grown accustomed to bearing alone. Let your faith not be a performance for others, but a living, breathing trust that I am faithful, steady, and present, even when feelings contradict the truth. I am building in you a resilience that outlasts quick fixes and fleeting feelings. You are being shaped not by accident, but through my intentional, loving design. Reject the lie that you must wait until you are unbroken or fully confident before coming to me. I take great joy in meeting you amid imperfection, in working within the cracks and weaknesses, transforming what feels like lack into testimony. Vulnerability is not your enemy. It is the door through which my power enters. Watch as I redeem disappointments, as I turn mourning into dancing, as I make gardens bloom and places scorched by disappointment and sorrow. See how I breathe new life into the parched places of your soul, how my presence refreshes you like cool water after a long journey in the desert. Allow hope to rise, even if only as a quiet expectation, for I will not fail you. My promises are not mere words, but living realities, seeds already planted, destined to bear fruit. Today, surrender the need to have it all figured out. Lay down the pressure to prove yourself, for my love does not demand perfection. I value your willingness to trust, even in small ways, above any display of certainty. Bring your doubts, your pain, your gratitude, and your questions. I welcome them all. This is the communion I seek, the honest nearness of heart to heart. Take comfort in my steadfastness, Let it give you courage to face what lies ahead. I have gone before you, prepared the way, and I walk beside you with every step. Let your soul exhale its tension and lean into the freedom of being fully known, fully loved, and forever held. I see that you come to me sometimes with burdens that seem unmovable, with questions that weigh on your heart like stones tucked into your clothing. Even now, as you read these words, you sense the hunger within you for peace, for clarity, for hope that outlasts your storms. I want you to know that nothing about you escapes my loving attention. I notice every thought passing quietly through your mind, every ache behind your smile, each sigh that escapes when you think no one is listening. I am always listening, not in judgment, but in understanding, compassion, and a tenacious desire to draw you nearer to the fullness for which you were created. Let me speak to that silent apprehension you sometimes carry that maybe the path you are on is too confusing, or that you are too worn down to find your way forward. Let me assure you, there is not a single moment when I have been distant or distracted. My hand has traced the edges of your story from before time's first dawn, shaping you with purpose, shaping you with gentleness. Your longing for meaning is not misplaced. I planted that yearning, and I alone can satisfy it. You do not wander into empty air. You journey under my gaze, surrounded by a love that is never measured or rationed, but poured out completely and freely, because you are mine. Do not underestimate the beauty of your fragile trust, that fragile hope you hold like a tiny lamp in your hands. You don't have to prove how strong your faith is for me to delight in you. That flicker of faith, that breath of hope, matters to me. Sometimes, when you think of faith, you imagine something mighty, a roaring confidence. Yet, I am captivated by your small act of turning to me, by the courage it takes simply to whisper my name when all you feel is uncertainty. Faith grows not by your striving alone, but by your willingness to let me meet you in your deepest need. Each moment you remember me, each question you dare to bring into the light, I am near, building you up from the inside out. You may look at the challenges before you and wonder if you have what it takes. Let me remind you gently that I am the one who holds what you lack. The strength you need does not have to be manufactured out of thin air. I am strength for the weary, rest for the restless, and enough for the days when you feel empty. The world around you may demand results, flawless performance, and a constant showing of your worth, but my love for you never rests on what you accomplish or fail to accomplish. What I desire from you is not relentless perfection, but honest surrender. Not endless striving, but quiet trust that opens the doors of your heart to let my peace flow in. Perhaps you have hidden wounds, words that cut deep, memories that linger, disappointments that taught you to tread lightly through hope. Bring them to me. Nothing in you repels me. My healing is not reserved for the perfect or the strong, but for the broken, the uncertain, the lost and lonely. I am intimately familiar with your pain and your dreams, and I do not recoil from your struggle. I lean in closer. I wrap you in my embrace and invite you to rest, not because you are without blemish, but because you are chosen and loved in the midst of your humanity. I invite you to look at your life not as a series of random events, but as a carefully woven tapestry, threads of sorrow and threads of joy, combining to create a picture you may not fully see yet. Sometimes you notice only the tangled knots and the darker hues, but I see the masterpiece in its entirety. My presence is not only with you in the easy, bright places, but also in the tangled, shadowed valleys. Where you see detours and delays, I see preparation. Where you see scarcity, I see the seeds of abundance waiting to break through. The path you walk is holy ground, not because it is smooth, but because I walk it with you. There will be moments when you want to give up, when the temptation is to retreat into familiar patterns of self-protection or to numb your heart against disappointment. In those moments, do not turn away from me. Let my voice be the gentle call back to your truest self. When you feel too weak to pray, remember, I hear even the silent longing beneath your words. If your hope has grown faint, lean on. My hope for you, I am never discouraged about your future, never surprised by your struggles, never ashamed of your battles. My plans for you are not fragile. They are founded in the steadfastness of my love. Let me also speak to your searching those relentless questions about your future, your purpose, and your place in the world. You are not overlooked, not left behind. The world may try to measure your worth in fleeting ways, but my measure is eternal, rooted in who I made you to be. I have gifted you with unique strengths, planted within you a song that only you can sing, a light that only you can shine. When you invite me into your search for meaning, you will see even your smallest steps and quietest offerings transformed. Your life has eternal weight. Every act of kindness, every moment you choose integrity over ease, every decision to love when it would be simpler not to, ripples out in ways you cannot yet imagine. Remember also that waiting is not wasting. There are seasons when I call you to pause, to rest, to trust that I am accomplishing things beneath the surface that you cannot measure in this moment. It is not easy to wait without seeing, to hope without evidence, to believe without feeling, but it is in these hidden places that your roots grow deep. I am cultivating in you a resilience and beauty that outlasts the storms. Know that you are not forgotten in the quiet or in the delay. I am faithful in every silent hour, attentive in every unseen moment. If you feel alone, know that you are always accompanied by my spirit. Even when you cannot sense my presence, I am closer than your own breath, sustaining you through emptiness and longing. Listen for my whispers in the calm and in the chaos, in the beauty and the brokenness. I am writing a story with your life, and the chapters yet to come hold more hope, more mercy, more joy than you can yet imagine. You have come close, and you feel me near, yet there are times when my presence seems hidden behind clouds of doubt or disappointment. Do not let your heart be troubled, for I see the longing in your soul to know me more deeply. You wonder if my heart remains turned toward you even when you falter, when you grow weary, or when you fear you have failed me. Hear me now, for my love does not depend on your perfection or on the strength of your resolve. I have chosen you, and my affection for you is steady, not swayed by the changing weather of your feelings or your circumstances. I am the one who calls forth light out of darkness. With gentle hands, I am shaping you, even in moments when you cannot recognize my work. Do not measure the nearness of my spirit by your emotion alone, for I am present through every season, the silent ones, the stormy ones, the joyous and the sorrowful. When you quiet your restless thoughts, even just for a moment, you catch the whisper of my nearness, tender as the breeze, steadfast as a mountain. Sometimes you wait for grand signs or undeniable miracles, thinking my attention would be drawn by desperation or dramatic change. Yet I delight in revealing myself in the daily rhythms, in the humble persistence of those who seek me with honest hearts. Look for me in the ordinary, the laughter of a friend, the sun warming your skin, a word that brings comfort, a song playing when you need hope. Nothing escapes me. I move easily through the details of your life, weaving grace invisibly through your days. Even your smallest efforts to draw close matter to me. When you turn your thoughts toward me, when you admit your needs or offer your gratitude, you are participating in the sacred dance of relationship I designed for you. I desire your presence as much as you desire mine, not because I need anything from you, but because loving you is the joy of my heart. When you stumble or fall, do not be afraid to approach me. You may be tempted to stay away, to believe that I am disappointed or distant. But I have already carried your burdens. I have already seen the wounds you hide. When you open your heart, even with trembling hands, I bring healing, not condemnation. My mercy is fresh each morning. and I cradle you with compassion when you are weary. I do not measure you by your failures, nor do I define you by your successes. I see you, beyond all pretense, and I cherish you as you are. Your honesty with me draws you closer to my heart. As light exposes the beauty of a hidden garden, so does vulnerability with me awaken deeper joy and freedom in your spirit. Come as you are, without the pressure to impress or perform. You may feel overwhelmed by the demands of your world, by expectations and the weight of responsibilities. You wonder if you have what it takes to endure, to keep moving forward with hope. Trust this: I have equipped you with everything necessary for the journey. My strength is available to you, not only in your achievements, but especially in your weakness. When you acknowledge your need for me, you unlock the fullness of my power working within you. My grace is not given sparingly or as a reward for works, but poured out abundantly because I delight in walking the path alongside you. Let go of the pressure to measure up. Rest in the assurance that I am with you, guiding, teaching, and steadying your steps. You are not alone in your struggles or your victories. I am closer than your breath. Let me transform your pain into purpose and your confusion into clarity. I specialize in taking what is broken and shaping it into something beautiful, something strong. Nothing in your story is wasted when entrusted to me. The questions that linger in your soul, the uncertainties and restless dreams, they are safe in my hands. I do not rush your growth or scold you for what you do not understand. Instead, I am a wise gardener, tending patiently to the seeds that I have planted within you, nourishing them with kindness and with gentle discipline. You do not walk through uncertainty alone. I navigate the unknown alongside you, shining light only as far ahead as you need to see, asking you to trust me for the rest. Even your doubts are not obstacles for me. I welcome your honest wrestling, for each query and hesitation can become a doorway for deeper encounter with my truth. Turn your worries over to me, even the ones you think are too small or too many. There is nothing insignificant to me when it concerns you. I am not wearied by repetition. Bring me your needs as often as they arise. In the quiet places of surrender, you discover fresh strength. Learn, too, to rest without guilt. I do not measure your worth by your productivity or by how busy you are for my sake. Sabbath was my idea, a sacred pause for your soul to find delight not only in me, but in the beauty I have scattered for you across this earth. When you allow yourself to rest, you say yes to my gift of joy, and remind your heart that you are loved apart from what you accomplish. Let me shape your inner life, the space where hidden thoughts and desires dwell. Invite me into the locked rooms, the places you believe are too disappointing or shameful for light. There is no darkness I cannot enter, no wound too deep for my care. My spirit brings peace into chaos, order into the tangled anxieties of your mind. Together, little by little, we untangle stubborn fears and replace them with hope. I do not rush your healing. Real transformation often comes softly, like dawn pushing back the dark one gentle ray at a time. Trust that even when you do not see immediate change, I am faithfully working beneath the surface. You are not a puzzle I am trying to solve, but a beloved soul I am eager to nurture. In your relationships, where friction arises and forgiveness feels costly, let me guide you. Extend grace not because others deserve it, but because you yourself have received grace without limit. Ask me for compassion to listen and patience to understand, even in moments when anger tries to take root. Your willingness to choose love, when it is hard, echoes my own heart for you. Do not be afraid to ask for help when forgiveness stretches beyond your strength. My spirit is your ally, empowering you to love beyond your own capacity. Where there has been hurt, I can bring reconciliation. Where friendships falter, I can foster new beginnings or bring healing where separation was necessary. Let yourself hope again. even when dreams have faded or disappointments have dulled your sense of possibility. I am the restorer of lost vision, the architect of new beginnings. I do not mock your longing or overlook your deferred hopes. Instead, I gather every hope that feels out of reach and hold it until the right season. Nothing is wasted in my economy. I redeem, restore, and bring beauty out of ashes, even when you do not yet see the form it will take. I encourage you to ask boldly, to pray with courage, and to expect good things, knowing that my answers come in the timing and way that are for your highest good. Open your heart to the rhythms of gratitude, for thanksgiving unlocks treasures you cannot access any other way. Even when joy feels distant, look for one small thing to thank me for, and notice how thankfulness softens your spirit. As you cultivate this posture, you become more aware of my gifts, both large and small. This awareness nurtures contentment, and contentment births joy independent of circumstance. I am present to your grief and your delight, your uncertainty, and your confidence. You can come to me with the fullness of your truth, and I receive you every time. Love and mercy are your inheritance. Hope and peace are your portion. Remain with me, and you will see new fruit in your life, even in the simple act of trusting me one step at a time. You have walked through morning shadows and felt the aching ambiguity of in-between hours. I saw every question spark in your heart, each longing that pressed against silence, every word you whispered in the darkness when you thought no one heard. I draw near to those whose hearts wonder if dawn is even possible after a long night. Where others see only the patterns of failure or the cycle of missed hopes, I see the seed of persistence that has not gone unnoticed. In those hours when all felt quiet, I was moving still a breath beside you, weaving strength into your tired spirit for purposes yet unfolding. Do not distrust the quiet intervals or mistake my silence for absence. Just as seeds break beneath the soil, out of sight, so do I form breakthroughs where you least expect. Resist the urge to measure my love by the immediacy of results or the sequence of your expectations. My timing, drawn from eternity, creates newness from dormancy and brings harvest from fields you thought were barren. Lean in closer. There are mysteries I am inviting you to taste, revelations that grow only in those willing to dwell with me in both certainty and mystery. I do not ask blind resignation, but the bravery of hope's endurance, the faith that builds altars in the wilderness, trusting provision before it is visible. These are the seasons when I shape your insight, teaching your soul to recognize my whisper instead of demanding signs that cater only to your impatience. You are learning to hear me in the wind, the laughter of a child, the whisper of peace in the middle of chaos. Every sense heightened as you wait, discovering that I arrive not merely with answers but with presence, not with mere solutions but with myself. So often the ache of waiting sharpens your awareness of what matters, purifying your desires. Where you once asked for things, now your deepest cry is for me. Let me remind you that I am the source and summit of every true longing. The restlessness in your heart is a homing call, tethering you to life's truest center, an invitation to abide in the steady reality of my love, impervious to circumstance. I formed you to hunger for connection with me, and this hunger is not a failing but a compass pointing homeward. Even as you walk among others, bearing silent dreams and unrevealed pains, I am orchestrating connections that transcend the visible web of relationships in your life. I know every disappointment that made you doubt your place, each betrayal that tempted you to harden your heart or withdraw from the reach of love. Yet, I urge you, do not allow the wounds of the past to sentence you to loneliness. You are not forgotten in the crowd or lost in the shuffle of lives more seemingly vibrant. I see you. I reach for you. Trust that I am preparing hearts and moments where your presence will be not only welcomed, but cherished. Leave behind the lie that you are too much or too little, that you must diminish yourself to fit into human expectations. In my eyes, you are held in immeasurable worth, shaped for purpose beyond what fleeting opinions can determine. Devote your days to small gestures of tenderness, both towards yourself and outward to others. Love does not demand spectacle. It flourishes in quiet acts, the forgiving word not spoken aloud, the thoughtfulness that expects no recognition, the silent intercession you carry for another's burden. With each act of compassion, you partner with me in healing the fabric of a world anxious for hope. Know that your faithfulness in the ordinary, unseen by most, is a radiant offering in my sight, sowing seeds for a future replete with reconciliation and joy. Release the pressure to perform your way into blessing. My favor is freely bestowed upon you, not because you have earned it, but because of who I am. In the aftermath of your stumbles, do not shrink from me. Come boldly, bringing both your victories and failures. Only I can transform the entire tapestry of your life into a testimony, weaving threads of grace through lessons learned in defeat and in triumph alike. Regret is no match for my mercy. Shame dissipates beneath the weight of acceptance. There is no past too crooked for my redemption. Trust me to bring beauty, even from scenes others deemed ruined beyond repair. When your energy flags and hope thins, receive my invitation to rest. I did not create you to grind endlessly or to measure your worth by the standards of relentless productivity. In my pattern, work and rest are both sacred, both essential to healthy living. As you honor your limits, you mirror my wisdom and offer yourself the compassion you so easily bestow on others. Rest is not a retreat from destiny. It is the preparation for resilience, the soil where renewed vision takes root. Allow yourself to step back, to savor what is good, to delight in the simple wonders with which I surround you. You are neither defined by your busiest days, nor diminished by your quietest ones. Each moment, surrendered to me, becomes a brushstroke in the art of your life, a masterpiece I am creating with attentive joy. You are beloved at your most triumphant and at your most vulnerable. My opinion of you does not waver with your emotional tides or your recent efforts. My devotion is constant, flowing from the depth of my nature rather than from your momentary performance. Let this truth become the foundation that steadies your soul amidst shifting seasons. Stand rooted, not in shifting sands of approval, but in the certainty that you are mine, wholly and forever. Lift your eyes now to the horizon I have set before you. I call you not merely to survive, but to flourish, a tree planted by living waters, whose leaves remain green in drought, whose fruit comes in its season. You may not see all I am preparing, but trust that the good work I have begun in you will reach its intended completion. Resist the temptation to rush the unfolding or to judge the process by what you can presently discern. I am the faithful gardener, tending every hidden growth and pruning not to inflict pain but to ensure abundance. Embrace the process, knowing that each season serves its purpose. Each delay can become a doorway. I desire for you a wholeness that cannot be reduced to what you own, accomplish, or overcome. True abundance is more than accumulated blessings or realized ambitions. It is a state of heart that knows contentment in plenty and in want. With me, you are equipped to navigate times of feast and times of lean, finding sufficiency not in changing circumstances, but in our unchanging relationship. As you learn to live from this wellspring, generosity flows more freely because you know yourself to be perpetually replenished by my care. You become less anxious to protect and more eager to give, confident that you will lack no good thing. You have journeyed far with me already, yet you sense that certain doors within your heart remain closed, holding old fears and disappointments. Know that I see every hidden place inside you, and I wait with patience and deep longing for you to invite me fully into those spaces. Do not think you must tidy up those secret corners before you open them. I am not ashamed to kneel amidst the dust and remnants of unspoken sorrows. My love does not diminish when confronted with your vulnerability. When you let me into those guarded places, I do not come with judgment or punishment, but with gentle light that reveals without wounding. There is healing in my presence, a quiet restoration that seeps in where faith has withered and trust has faltered. You ask how to overcome the sense of separation that grows when life is noisy, when you fail and fall short, when your weaknesses seem greater than your strength. The answer does not lie in striving harder, nor in ritual actions performed without heart. It lives in our simple, honest connection when you look to me as you truly are, not as who you think you should be. I desire relationship, not performance. Come to me with your exhaustion, your loneliness, your mistakes. Let your words be true, even if they stumble or falter. I do not require perfection, only your willingness to draw near. Lift your gaze to me and whisper your needs. I am already listening, already loving you through each moment of struggle. You wonder if your past has marked you beyond redemption, if the things you regret have set you apart from the embrace you crave. Listen now. There is nowhere you can travel, no decision you can make that can remove you from my grasp or silence my invitation. I have chosen you, not for your achievements, but because my heart delights in you. Forgiveness flows from me as a river, washing over mistakes, carrying away guilt, and leaving in its place the fresh soil of new beginnings. I do not forget you, and I do not tire of forgiving when you return to me with a sincere heart. Every moment is a chance to begin again, to find joy in the assurance that you are always welcome and wanted in my presence. Let me speak purpose into your life in the places where you have grown weary of waiting, or where you question if your days hold meaning. You are not overlooked. The tapestry I am weaving with your life will reveal beauty in time, a beauty that often forms in the places of struggle and delay. The seeds I have planted in you need both sunlight and darkness to grow. When you feel buried or unseen, trust that I am nurturing something precious within you that will one day break the surface. Do not despise small beginnings or the quiet seasons. My timing is not a punishment but an act of wisdom, for I prepare you for every good thing with care. You may notice others seem to race ahead while you linger in uncertainty. It is natural to feel restless or envious, but I am crafting a unique path for you. Comparison is a thief that robs you of the joys planted in your own soil. Fix your eyes on me rather than on the metrics of others. I know when the fruit is ready. I know when to unfold your story in a way that reveals my love and your worth. Until then, be patient with yourself. Be gentle with your progress. I notice every step you take, and I smile at your courage to trust when sight grows dim. If ever you doubt your ability to carry on, recall that I am the source of your strength. You do not draw from an empty well. My provision never runs dry. You may feel inadequate or ill-equipped, but I delight in using what is weak to reveal the depth of my power. Bring me your empty hands, your stammering prayers, your fears and uncertainties. Watch as I multiply your little into much, as I turn your surrender into channels of blessing far greater than all your striving could achieve. My strength is yours each day, as near as your next breath. There may be times when my voice seems silent or distant, when suffering makes you question if I am present. In those moments, do not turn away, but lean in closer, even if your faith is threadbare. I promise never to abandon you. My silence is not absence. Sometimes in the quiet, I am preparing your heart to hear me in ways you never imagined. Even when I seem far away, I carry you close, and I am working in hidden ways to bring light to your darkness. Trust that I see every tear, that I treasure every pang of longing in your heart. Confusion sometimes clouds your path, and you wonder if you hear me rightly. I am not a God of confusion, but of peace. When you ask for wisdom, I give it generously, not with reproach, but with delight. Trust that I am guiding you, gently shaping your decisions, redirecting as needed. Listen for my peace underneath the noise of your worries. Follow where my spirit invites calm, conviction, and hope to take root. Even when you step out unsure, I honor your courage to seek me and will use every detour for your good. Relationship with me is not about mastering all spiritual practices, but about presence, yours and mine. Let every ordinary task become an opening for communion. Whisper gratitude when you notice beauty. Confess when frustration boils over. Invite me into your conversations and choices. I am not confined to sacred spaces or special moments. I walk with you through the ordinary, pouring grace into everything from your work to your rest, your laughter to your tears. If you hunger for deeper closeness, do not wait until you feel qualified or composed. Approach me as you are, with honesty and expectation. Even your smallest desire to connect with me delights my heart. I have always been more interested in your presence than your perfection. When you stumble, I am there to lift you up. When you lose your way, I gently lead you back. Never believe the lie that you are too far gone, too flawed, or too late for my embrace. My arms are always open, longing to draw you near. And so, as you journey further with me into the realms of trust and surrender, I ask you to pause and sense my presence in the spaces between your thoughts, in the intervals where anxiety tries to press in. You have long carried concerns for the future. What will happen to your dreams, your loved ones, your work, your body, and the world itself? These are not small matters, and I do not minimize your fears. Yet I gently remind you that the future is not a weight for your shoulders. Each day you walk with me, I am the keeper of tomorrow. Even when your eyes see only fog and ambiguity, my sight is unclouded. I guide not by the shifting shadows of circumstance, but by the certainty of my purpose for you. Let these words settle over your anxious heart. You are not forsaken, not for an instant. Let me tell you plainly, your striving to control every outcome is not a badge of responsibility, but a needless burden. If you cling tightly to every variable and outcome, your soul grows weary and restless. Instead, I am teaching you to hold life loosely in your open hands, to trust that whatever falls away was never truly yours, and whatever remains is a gift to nourish and sustain you. I want to show you the beauty of living with open hands, open heart, open mind. I am not asking you to be reckless, but to allow me the place of lordship over your story. I have plans for you that exceed your calculations, and the gates to these plans swing wide through surrender. When you quiet your heart enough to listen, you may notice how often I speak to you in the gentle rhythms around you. The sunrise brushing gold across your room, the laughter of someone you love, the stillness at day's end. These are not random. They are echoes of my affection, reminders that I see you and always provide for your soul. When the storm rages and you feel unanchored, set your gaze on me. The waves respond to my word, the wind quiets at my whisper. If you let me, I will calm the tumult within you and lead you into unforced rhythms of grace. There will be days when doubt hovers close, whispering that you are unseen or unheard, that your prayers dissolve into emptiness. But I ask you to remember, with every breath I am closer than your own thoughts. My answers to your prayers do not always arrive in the shape you expect. Sometimes I answer in gentle shifts of your heart's desires, other times in surprising open doors, or in a deeper resilience that grows when what you plead for seems delayed. Never confuse my silence for absence or my wait for indifference. I am always at work, threading redemption through every heartache, drawing hope from the soil of what you surrender. My beloved, life with me is not a race to perfection, but a pilgrimage of intimacy. I do not measure you by your flawless execution, but by your willingness to let me into the honest, sometimes messy recesses of your soul. Bring me your confusion, your frustration, your questions, and your flat exhaustion. I have room for it all. Even when you do not know how to pray, your sighs and longing reach me as clearly as any anthem. There is never a wrong way to come. The only mistake would be to turn away. If you look back on your life, recall how often I have met you in unlikely places through the encouragement of a friend, the beauty of music, a moment of stillness beneath the night sky. I am never limited by the structures of religion or ritual. My desire is to know you, to be known by you, and to delight together in living. Do not separate the sacred from your everyday. Invite me into your ordinary scenes, as you rise, as you work, while you laugh, while you weep. Watch what happens when you make space for my companionship in the mundane. You may wonder about your worth, especially when you compare yourself to others or to your own expectations. Rest now from that endless measuring. You are precious to me, uniquely fashioned for this moment in history. There are songs only your heart can sing, wounds that only your hands can heal, and comfort that only your presence can bring. Rather than striving for someone else's story, embrace the beautiful truth that you are irreplaceable in my tapestry. Every scar, every triumph, every tear belongs to the masterpiece I am weaving. Thank me for your process, even as it unfolds in ways you did not anticipate. Do not grow discouraged when growth appears slow or hidden. Roots often deepen out of sight before the first green shoot breaks through the ground. Every small act of trust, every choice to love when it feels hard, every moment you turn back to me, these are seeds. In due time, you will notice the flourishing that was taking place all along in quiet transformation. I notice it now, the progress unseen by human eyes, but celebrated by my heart. In your human weakness, you may feel disqualified or insufficient. Let me remind you, my strength is made perfect in weakness. Where you falter, I am steady. Where you lack wisdom, ask without fear or shame. I give generously, never finding fault. The humility to rely on me is not a sign of immaturity, but evidence of real trust. I am not disappointed by your struggle. Lean on me, draw from me, rest in me. I am your sustainer, your defender, your ever-present help. This journey does include valleys, places where shadows threaten or loss weighs heavy on your chest. In these times, it is not your job to force understanding. Let your tears flow when they must. I collect everyone, and none are wasted. Grief is not a detour from my presence, but often an invitation into deeper communion. As you mourn, I am near, holding you as a loving parent embraces a hurting child. Do not fear the valleys, for I have walked them myself and transformed them by my love. There is more light coming, even after nights when hope seems thin. There are fresh mercies waiting for you at dawn. Trust that beyond what you now see, my goodness is preparing paths of restoration and new beginnings. Hold on to me when joy is easy and when faith feels like a whisper. I am unchanging and unwavering, your steadfast guide. As you open your soul in honesty, I meet you with compassion, and together we move forward, one step at a time. Even when fear creeps into your heart and uncertainty clouds your vision, I am not only beside you but utterly devoted to your well-being. Your circumstances do not define your belonging to me, nor does your weakness threaten my faithfulness. Understand this. I have chosen you not because you are always brave or wise or constant, but because I delight in loving you through your limitations. In the quiet moments when your spirit feels stretched and your questions go unanswered, let those very aches become openings for my grace to enter. As you hand over your anxieties, know that I turn nothing away. I receive every concern, every unspoken worry, and I respond with compassion and strength that surpasses your own. Take heart. Your struggles are not evidence of my absence, but invitations for deeper intimacy. For in your recognizing your need, you allow me to show you how complete I am for you. You may wonder sometimes whether your journey has wandered too far, or whether your mistakes have disqualified you from what I desire to do in your life. Do not be deceived, for my mercy is deeper than any distance you've traveled and wider than any failure you fear. When others recount your flaws or your own inner critic speaks harshly, remember that I see past the outward appearance and gaze into the heart I relentlessly pursue. I am the lifter of your head, the one who draws near even when you withdraw. There is no shame so dark that my light cannot banish it, no secret so heavy that my love cannot bear it. Bring your burdens to me, not as offerings needing to be perfect, but as open invitations for me to heal what you cannot fix and to restore the parts of you that have grown weary from striving. Let me remind you that your identity is anchored in what I have spoken over you, not in the fluctuating whispers of self-doubt or the shifting opinions of the world. You are my beloved, crafted with intention and designed with a future full of hope. Every season you endure, whether of abundance or lack, clarity or confusion, is held within the boundaries of my promise. What I have started in you will not falter or fail, because it is not sustained by your efforts, but by my unending faithfulness. When you are distracted by the noise of comparison, when you feel as though your gifts are small or your life unimpressive, remember that it is not the size of your offering but the state of your heart that I cherish. I delight in your sincerity, in your humble steps toward me, in your willingness to believe that small seeds of faith can bear great fruit in time. You do not walk this path alone. I have planted people along your way to encourage you, to challenge you, and to remind you of my goodness when your memory falters. Isolation often paints itself as safety, but true security is found in loving and being loved, in receiving from others what you hesitate to give yourself. Risk opening your heart, even when vulnerability feels dangerous. In fellowship, my presence is magnified. In unity, my joy is multiplied. Allow others to walk beside you, to pray for you, to glimpse the parts of your story you would rather conceal. Healing often begins in the brave act of sharing your true self, and through your honesty, others find permission to be honest too. There will be days when gratitude feels distant and praise seems unnatural, but know that even your feeblest song reaches me as music. When you offer thanks not out of compulsion but as an act of trust, your perspective shifts from scarcity to abundance, from complaint to celebration. Let my goodness shape your awareness, so that you begin to see grace in unlikely places and hope taking root where disappointment once reigned. Let your daily life become a canvas on which I write new mercies. Let your routines be punctuated by small prayers and hidden moments of awe. As you practice noticing my fingerprints, you will find that joy is less about circumstance and more about recognizing my presence woven into every hour. Remember, there is purpose in every desert as well as every green pasture. Seasons of waiting are not wasted. They are fertile soil for deeper dependence, holy ground where I prune, prepare, and teach you to long for me more than for answers. When you feel the ache of unfulfilled dreams or the restlessness of unanswered prayers, do not rush past that discomfort. Instead, allow it to draw you into deeper conversation with me. Ask, seek, knock not as one demanding a transaction, but as my child holding fast in trust that I am good and I am for you. Your desires matter to me not just because of what they request, but because they reveal your heart, and I cherish every facet of your story, even the ones still waiting for resolution. I know that sometimes hope feels fragile, and there is a temptation to settle for resignation rather than anticipation. But hear me. My promises are not contingent on your optimism or resilience. They are rooted in my unbreakable nature. Let me breathe fresh hope into you, not by erasing challenges, but by walking with you through them, speaking peace to your anxious thoughts, and calling forth courage where fear once lived. Hold expectancy close, even when what you hope for seems delayed. I do not tease you with empty words. I am faithful to fulfill what I have spoken over your life, in ways that may surprise you, at times you may not expect. Do not underestimate the significance of your hidden acts of kindness, your quiet prayers, or your steadfastness in moments nobody else sees. I cherish those offerings, the whispered forgiveness, the silent help provided, the patient endurance when circumstances press hard. Nothing escapes my notice. I see your perseverance, your hopes, your attempts to love when it costs you. In my kingdom, greatness is measured not by applause, but by faithfulness in the unseen. Trust that what you plant in faith will bear a harvest in its season, for I am the gardener, nurturing every good seed to completion. Let the assurance of my delight in you anchor your soul. When storms rise and uncertainty batters your mind, cling to my words above the clamor. Let them be the foundation beneath your feet, unshakable amid all that shifts around you. You are safe in my hand. Your life is held in the one grip that never fails. As you continue, remember, every step you take forward in trust becomes a declaration that I am worthy of belief, that my love is stronger than fear, and that your story is unfolding under the watchful care of the one who cherishes you beyond measure. You are beginning to recognize the gentle movements of my spirit within you, those quiet promptings that stir your heart at unexpected moments. Even when doubt tries to cloud your vision, remember that I am not far off. I dwell closer than your next breath. Listen for me in the stillness. Sometimes you will find me in the unspoken peace that settles over you like a soft blanket, or in the sudden warmth that shines in the midst of cold uncertainty. I am that steady hand, holding you fast when you feel unanchored. The storms that once seemed to define your limits no longer possess the power to pull you under, for my love has built a shelter around you. When you lay awake rehearsing worries, I am not surprised by the anxieties that run through your mind. I see every thread, and I know how to untangle them gently. Even in the turbulence of your emotions, I remain unshaken. Simply turn toward me, even with trembling hands. My commitment to you is not swayed by your missteps. I see each misgiving and each attempt you make to stand, and I count them as devotion. You may wonder if there's a limit to my patience with you, but in my heart there is no measure, no clock ticking down the moments until I'm weary of your return. Every time you think you've exhausted my grace, open your eyes and find that even more has been poured out before you. When you feel weighed down by regret, let it remind you of your need for me, not your distance from me. Even the heavy things you carry can become sacred offerings when placed in my hands. My forgiveness is not reluctant. It runs to meet you, eager to gather you up and wash away the stains that shame would use to keep you hidden. Let those places within you that ache become spaces for my healing to arrive. Hear me speak, even now, that you are not defined by what you have lost or failed to become, but by the fullness of my love that claims you as precious and sought after. No shadow within you is stronger than the brilliance of my light. Where you feel unseen, I behold you with unwavering attention. Where you feel misunderstood, I understand fully. Where others have dismissed your pain, I hold it with reverence and promise to redeem what feels ruined. The world may teach you to hide your weaknesses, but I invite you to bring them to me. In the quiet surrender of your limitations, my power is most beautifully revealed. I do not demand you to be perfect, only to be present with me. Honest and open as you are, lay down striving and let the gentle rhythm of my love bring rest to your soul. As you learn to trust in my provision, you will find courage to face uncertain tomorrows. Sometimes you fear I am silent because you cannot hear loud answers, but my ways are often subtle, soft as a whisper, yet more enduring than thunder. Do not measure my faithfulness by whether your circumstances change instantly. I am working in layers unseen, weaving together pieces far beyond what your eyes can grasp. I am shaping you for greater wholeness, not only solving what is immediate, but building within you a deeper trust. There are seasons for waiting, for slow growth beneath the surface, where roots are being anchored. You have not been forgotten in these in-between spaces. My timing is not like yours, but it is always loving and always for good. I know the ache of longing, the hope that dares to reach for more, the disappointment when things do not unfold as dreamed, the wrestling between resignation and hope. Bring your desires to me, even the ones you've stopped praying for. If you hand over your disappointments, I will reshape them into hope that endures, scarred but shining. There are treasures to be found even in the wastelands, for I can make beauty spring from dust. The chapters of your life that still feel incomplete are not wasted. I will write my redemption into every unfinished story, even the ones you can scarcely imagine healing. You are more resilient than you know, not because of your own strength alone, but because my spirit lives within you, breathing life into all that is weary and worn. When you falter, look to me and see my hands outstretched, ready to catch and steady you. The more you trust me in the small steps, the more your confidence will grow to meet greater challenges. Every day is a chance to begin again, without condemnation or fear of what you cannot undo. I do not measure you by your success, but by your willingness to return, to risk love and trust once more. There may be habits or patterns that feel impossible to break on your own. Bring them into my presence, not as shameful secrets, but as places where you are most in need of transformation. I delight in working with honesty, and I am not discouraged by the magnitude of what you bring. My power is perfected in your weakness. What you fear, maybe your undoing, can become the very entry point for my grace. Keep coming to me, even when progress feels slow. Celebrate the tiniest shifts. I rejoice over each one. You are not a disappointment to me. My arms remain open for you always. My delight in you is not diminished by your struggles. You may have learned to be guarded, to expect disappointment, to brace yourself for rejection. Let me teach you a new way to trust that you are welcome, wanted, and chosen. I call you to live uncovered, not hiding what feels fragile, but bringing it out into the warmth of my kindness. Yes, vulnerability carries risk, but with me you risk only receiving more love. I have seen the tears you do not show. I collect every one and craft them into rivers of compassion that will flow to others. What you experience in secret, I promise to redeem in community, that your healing may become healing for others as well. There are new beginnings waiting just beyond what you can see. Do not despair at the length of the journey. Each step is precious to me. There are songs I am teaching you in the silence, trust forming in the waiting, strength building in the day-to-day faithfulness. Your story is not stuck. It is being written carefully and tenderly. I have not forgotten any promise or overlooked any cry of your heart. Even when the world moves on, I keep watch, faithful to complete what I have begun in you. Remember, as you rest in my presence now, that you are not alone. I have surrounded you with unseen help, with signs of my love woven into ordinary days. Look for me in the laughter, in the kind words of a friend, in the moments of quiet that catch you off guard with peace. I will keep speaking, leading, and loving you through every season. Trust that you are never out of reach, never without hope, and never forsaken. I have watched over you since before your first breath, knowing every longing, every ache, every silent hope that stirs quietly within you. Even on the days when weariness hangs over your shoulders and you wonder if the journey leads anywhere meaningful, I am intimately aware of your struggles. There is no tear you shed alone, no laughter I have not cherished, no dream I have not taken into my own heart. Your story is safe in the palm of my hand, shaped lovingly by the purpose and destiny I spoke over you from the beginning. The paths you travel, though at times marked by shadows, are also lit by the unquenchable light of my presence, which cannot be dimmed by despair or failure. When you look upon your life, its messiness, its beauty, its unfinished hopes, know that I am never disillusioned or disappointed. I see every crooked line woven into the great tapestry, and I call it precious. I call you precious. There may be moments when your faith falters, where the world's voices so loud with doubt, so persistent in cynicism, threaten to drown out the quiet affection I feel for you. You might feel small or insignificant, easily overlooked and unheard. But I assure you, every quiet act of love, every small gesture of kindness, every private fight against bitterness makes a sound in eternity. None of it is lost to me. What you sometimes count as failure, I redeem as seed for future goodness. The lessons you learn in the night, in silence, in heartbreak, these are the treasures that ultimately shape your inner beauty, making you a living testimony of my faithfulness. Keep your heart open to me, especially when trusting feels risky. Surrender does not mean abandoning hope. It means making room for miracles to unfold in ways beyond your planning. I am not seeking perfect performance or endless strength. I delight in your vulnerability, in the honest questions that tumble from your lips, in the moments you choose love over resentment, even when anger would be easier. It is in these spaces that my spirit draws closest, filling you not only with comfort but with resilience rooted in something greater than circumstances. When the way ahead appears tangled and the horizon seems hidden behind storms, listen for my guiding whisper. Let my words settle over every fear, every question, until peace becomes the quiet rhythm of your days. Do not measure your worth by accomplishments or compare your journey to those around you. My plans for each of my children are unique, as varied and specific as snowflakes and stars. I call you to walk by light I give you, one step at a time, trusting that as you follow faithfully, even in seasons of obscurity, you are moving deeper into abundance. If weariness tempts you to believe that rest is weakness, remember that in stillness and quiet, I renew what striving cannot maintain. Let me hold the pieces you cannot fix, and trust that my hands never fumble. As you rise and fall, as you try and sometimes stumble, know that nothing you face is beyond my ability to redeem. Your regrets, your deepest failures, your lost years, I gather these up and weave them back into beauty, restoring even what you thought was gone forever. My mercy is never exhausted, never rationed or measured out grudgingly. I want you to experience the freedom of a heart unburdened by shame, the assurance that forgiveness is written into every boundary of your life. Bring me your disappointments, your frustrations, even your anger and confusion. I invite every part of you into open dialogue with me. I want you to live knowing that you are loved all the way through, down to the parts of yourself you would rather hide. My love is not deterred by your doubts or mistakes. You are not simply tolerated. You are celebrated, delighted in, wanted. Let that reality become the foundation on which you build everything else, a bedrock that cannot be torn down by circumstances or opinions. What you believe about who you are matters, and I am always speaking over you a name that means beloved, chosen, and home. Let hope rise within you again. Refuse to let cynicism or disappointment have the final word over your life. What is broken can be repaired. What is lost can be found. You are never defined by your worst day, your hardest moment, or your darkest thought. Your truest identity is shaped by my unwavering love and the perpetual invitation to start anew. If you find fatigue settling over your spirit, let my presence minister to you in quietness, in the softness of dawn, in the stillness after a storm, in the gentle hands of those who care for you. Live expectantly, not with anxiety, but with the assurance that you will see goodness bloom in surprising places. Do not be afraid to hope again, even on the days when everything feels uncertain. The future I have for you is generous, spacious, and threaded with joy deeper than fleeting pleasure. Persevere in love, and let compassion guide your choices even when it costs you comfort. In this, you embody my heart before the watching world. Cherish the moments that seem insignificant, the hidden acts of generosity, the quiet faithfulness in ordinary days. These are the seeds the world overlooks, but I never forget. In every season there is purpose, joy, sorrow, growth, waiting. All have meaning when offered to me. You do not walk alone, and you never will. I am the faithful companion beside you, the voice calling you upward, the arms that welcome you when you are weary. Consider the invitation I extend to you, to trust me more deeply, to lay aside what hinders, to allow your heart to be healed and made whole. My dream for your life is wider than you imagine, measured not by the limits of the world but by eternity's horizon. Allow me to renew your vision, to restore hope, to teach you how to flourish. There is more for you, more than you have seen, more than you have dared to hope. I am with you in every detail, attentive to each prayer, eager to surprise you with my kindness. Let gratitude open your eyes to wonders already around you, and faith lead you into days marked by courage. You are my beloved, held and cherished beyond measure. Walk forward in confidence, leaning not on your understanding but on the surety of my presence that sustains you through every uncertainty. Come to me, rest in me, and find life overflowing with new mercies each and every morning. You have not arrived here by accident. In the stillness of this moment, know that I am speaking directly to you. Right now, in the turning of your thoughts, I see the silent questions you carry, those hidden places where you long for assurance and clarity. You may have come searching for something real, perhaps a whisper of hope or a sign that your journey matters. I want you to settle your heart, for my word to you now will reveal more than mere comfort. A new depth will unfold, unlocking the treasures I have been preparing for you. Do not let your doubts rob you of this encounter. If you drift away now, you will miss the nearness of my presence and the gentle invitation I am offering, an invitation shaped uniquely for you, born out of my perfect understanding of your heart. What you hold in your hands is not an echo of old words, but my living message, direct, intimate, richer than any wisdom you have known. With every word, I am drawing near, not as a distant image, but as the God who has always seen you. Be still, for in this closeness I will reveal the deep things your spirit has longed to hear. There are days when the burdens you carry weigh heavy on your shoulders, and your soul grows weary beneath the demands of life. In those hours of fatigue and disappointment, do you sense my presence? Do you realize that I have never left your side, not even for a moment? When you feel unseen and misunderstood, I am closer than your breath, upholding you with a strength that does not falter. I delight to walk beside you through the rocky places and the quiet streams, guiding you toward rest while imparting the wisdom your spirit needs. My love is not shaken by your failures or magnified by your successes. My love simply is unchanging, unwavering, and vast as the oceans. Even when you question your purpose or struggle to see the path ahead, trust that I am working in hidden ways, weaving every fragment of your story into a masterpiece. Lift your eyes, for there is beauty yet to be revealed. Each trial you face is not punishment, but an opportunity for you to experience my faithfulness in new and deeper ways. I know how you think, how your heart races in moments of anxiety, how you wonder if you are enough. Rest, for I have called you by name and claimed you as my own before you ever called to me. In loneliness, I am your companion. In fear, your refuge. In confusion, your guiding light. Let your heart open a little more. There is a gentleness in my correction, a kindness that will not shame you, but lifts you lovingly toward wholeness. I see every hidden motive, every anxious thought, and still my affection remains unbroken. My child, you do not need to hide from me. There is nothing about you that frightens or disappoints me. Come as you are with all your questions, your longing, even your regrets. Let me hold you in the honesty of this moment. I seek not to condemn, but to restore, to heal the parts of your soul you have thought beyond repair. When you stumble, know that my hands are there to steady you. I am not the taskmaster who demands perfection, but the Father who celebrates each step you take toward the fullness of life I have crafted for you. When you feel weakest and most exposed, remember, I see you with eyes of mercy. There is so much grace waiting to fill the dry places within you. Breathe deep, for my presence is not given in small measure. I pour myself out for you, eager that you know the certainty of my nearness. Even now, the fragrance of hope is rising in your heart. Allow it room to grow. As you linger here, notice how your heart starts to quiet, how the anxiety softens at the edges. This is the space where transformation begins, not in the rush or in grand gestures, but in these sacred moments of stillness. There is nothing I enjoy more than being close to you, to listen as you pour out your worries, to celebrate each small victory you share with me. I know the dreams you have buried, the disappointments you try to forget. Nothing is wasted in my hands. Every tear has been gathered, every hope carefully guarded. My plans for you are not fashioned out of mere possibility, but out of certainty and intentional love. In your doubts, come close and let my wisdom fill the empty places. Ask, and I will give without holding back. There is a path prepared, one of joy, challenge, and deep satisfaction that I long to walk with you. Do not compare your journey to another's. I have written your story with my own fingers. It is unlike any other, precious in its uniqueness. Let comparison and envy fall away. Fix your eyes on me, and let every step forward be guided by the assurance that you are exactly where you need to be. Sometimes you may wonder if I truly understand, if I know the complexity of your emotions or the reasons behind your choices. I know you far better than you know yourself. Every strand of your being was knit together with purpose. I celebrate your strengths and hold compassion for your struggles. Nothing surprises me. Nothing deters my affection. I delight to see the courage you muster, even in small things. You may overlook your own perseverance, but I do not. When you are patient, when you show kindness, even when it costs you, when you turn away from bitterness, these are victories. I see the intention of your heart to seek goodness, to love sincerely, even when you falter. Do not despise your weaknesses. In those places, my power becomes most evident. My grace does not diminish when you struggle. Instead, I step in closer, offering the strength you could never conjure alone. Trust that in every season, I am forming something beautiful from what you consider ordinary. Consider the love that surrounds you, even now. Hear it in the laughter you share with others, in the gentle words spoken at just the right time, in the quiet encouragement that lifts your spirit unexpectedly. My love weaves through every interaction, every relationship. You are never alone in your battles. I send help in ways you can see and in ways that remain hidden. Cultivate gratitude for these gifts, for with each one, I am reminding you that you are cherished. Let thanksgiving become the soil in which hope and courage grow. When you are tempted to believe that goodness is scarce, recall the many times I have shown up in your story, in the provision you did not expect, the forgiveness you received, the peace that came when you should have felt only turmoil. I am not just present in moments of grandeur, but also in the smallest details of your life. Learn to see with new eyes, to recognize the evidence of my care in the ordinary rhythms of your days. There will be moments ahead that stretch you, that invite you to trust more deeply than before. Do not fear these seasons. For every challenge, I have supplied the grace you will need. For every sorrow, I am storing up comfort and restoration. When the way seems dark, remember that I am working even in what you cannot see or understand. Hold tightly to the assurance that my promises do not change with circumstances. If you find yourself surrounded by uncertainty, lean into my faithfulness. I am steady. I do not abandon those I love. Every worry about provision, about relationships, about the future, bring them to me openly. Let me carry what you were never meant to hold alone. My strength is made perfect in your surrender. You are safest in my hands, and nothing can snatch you from my embrace. As you read further, Let your heart awaken to the deep, sustaining hope I am nurturing within you. Even now I am right beside you, closer than your next breath, attentive to the subtle turning of your heart and the questions that stir within you. I see the silent longing that aches for understanding, the restless thirst for wholeness beneath the routine of your days. The world has given you many voices and countless competing visions for what it means to be strong, to find purpose, to make sense of the hours as they pass. But I invite you into something deeper, more real than the fleeting certainty or comfort the world offers. My gaze reaches to the places where light has not yet dawned, and my hand gently beckons you out of the shadows, not by force, but in gentle confidence. You wonder if your trials are known, if your hopes are seen, if the wounds you carry matter in the infinite tapestry of all things. Know this: I have numbered every sigh of your heart and seen the secret beauty shining through even your brokenness. You may have felt alone, abandoned, or invisible at times, as if your prayers disappear into silence or the ache of disappointment grows too heavy to bear. Yet, in every moment you thought yourself forgotten, I was loving you most completely, nearer than you dared to hope. My love was not absent in the waiting, the storms, or the silent nights. Even when your trust faltered and your questions echoed unanswered, my compassion never wavered. Do not measure my presence by the ease of your path or the abundance you can grasp with your hands. The treasure I offer is not found among the trappings of success or comfort that so quickly vanish. Instead, I am the steady whisper that calls you by name when all else grows still, reminding you that you are made for more than survival, more than the approval of others, more than the smallness of fear. I see the uncertainty that grips you, the hesitation to trust again after so many disappointments. You have heard promises before, some broken by others, some you made to yourself and could not keep. There is a part of you that yearns for assurance, for something or someone worthy of your surrender. Even as I speak, let my words become the anchor your soul has craved. Hear me. I am not like those who failed you. My faithfulness is not dependent upon your perfection. I do not love you for what you do, achieve, or even for how well you believe. My love is the fountain that never runs dry, the unshakable ground beneath your every step. When you stumble, I am present, not to condemn, but to lift you, to remind you of your name, your purpose, your belonging to me. When the world speaks fear and exhaustion, I speak rest and renewal. I know how weary your heart has grown, carrying burdens that seem endless, the pressure to be enough, the relentless flood of anxious thoughts, the silent battles that few see. I do not despise your weakness. Rather, I call you to bring it into the light, to lay it at my feet where shame cannot reach you. There is no condemnation here, only an open invitation to rest in my embrace, where striving gives way to peace. Do not be afraid of your need. That cry for help, that groaning from the depths of your spirit, is the seed of transformation. The world says your limitations disqualify you. I say they are the very places where my power is made perfect. Yield your weakness, and you will discover my strength rising within you like a gentle, unbreakable tide. In your search for significance, you may have sought control or approval, thinking that only in proving yourself could you finally be at peace. Yet every idol, every false comfort, leaves you emptier still. I did not create you to live in the agony of not enough, forever chasing what cannot satisfy. I fashioned you from the beginning for love, to walk in freedom, and to know the fullness of joy that nothing can steal away. When you reach your end, when you are emptied of your own resources, I am ready to fill you not with fleeting pleasures, but with the deep, sustaining love that outlasts disappointment, that heals what shame has shattered, that gives hope when there seems to be none left. Do not shrink back from this invitation. Step forward and discover the inheritance already given to you, an identity unshakable, rooted in my delight. I know how hard it can be to trust again after you have tasted bitterness or betrayal. Doubts creep in like shadows, whispering that vulnerability is unsafe and surrender is weakness. Yet my ways are not the ways of this world. My strength is revealed not in those who never fall, but in those who return, open-hearted and willing to start anew. Each time you lay your fears before me, you choose hope over despair. Each time you refuse to be defined by your past, you become living proof of my redemptive power. Do not believe the lie that you must clean yourself up before coming to me. Come as you are, ragged, exhausted, uncertain. I welcome you because I delight in you, yes, even now. If you could see with my eyes for a moment, you would be amazed at the beauty growing out of the soil of your struggle. Every tear watered the seeds of compassion. Every disappointment carved out a deeper hunger for truth. Every wrestle with darkness became fertile ground for my light to break through. Nothing is wasted. Not the years of wandering, nor the hidden grief that feels too heavy to name. My hands are skilled at redeeming what seems ruined. I draw gold from the dust and life from the tomb. Where you feel only ache, I see sacred possibility. Where you feel broken, I see the shape of new creation forming. Allow me access to the deepest places of your heart, and you will see transformation beyond your sweetest longing. Sometimes you look at others and wonder if you are behind, if you missed some cosmic opportunity or fell short of your purpose. Let go of comparison, for I have written a unique story over your life. I do not measure your worth by your pace or your outward achievements. My love is not a contest, and your path is not a race. I call you to trust the process, to know that I am weaving goodness into each day, even the ones that seem ordinary or unnoticed. Every small act of faithfulness, every whispered yes to me, carries eternal significance. Nothing escapes my notice, and nothing offered from a loving heart is ever wasted. When shame tries to convince you that you are too flawed or undeserving of grace, remember this: my mercy is greater than your deepest failure. I did not come to bind you in guilt, but to break every chain and set you free. Let my forgiveness wash away the accusations, the regrets, the memories that haunt you at night. There is no condemnation for you in my presence, only a new beginning, crafted with tenderness and intention, waiting for your consent to unfold. You may not yet understand how deeply you are known, how fiercely you are loved, how safe you are in my hands. But as you open your heart to me and surrender your future, I will prove my faithfulness again and again. I do not abandon what I have begun, and I have chosen you, called you by name, declared you precious and honored in my sight. I am your refuge when storms rise, your anchor in uncertainty, your comfort in sorrow, and your greatest joy in every season. Trust me, I will never fail you. There are moments when your heart battles against the shadows of confusion and the voices that clamor for your attention, but I am the voice that speaks peace in the midst of noise. My presence, though gentle, is persistent and strong, steady like a current that does not yield to tides, quietly guiding you back every time you begin to drift. As you pause and listen, feel the subtle invitation tugging at your spirit, a call to let go of the burdens you have gathered along your journey. Every weight you carry, whether guilt or disappointment or anxiety, none is too heavy for me to bear with you. Allow yourself to be honest before me, for I see every motive and know every longing, and still, I call you deeply beloved. You do not have to hide the parts of your story that seem tangled or broken. Let me tend to those hidden sorrows that you have wrapped in silence. Let me assure you, nothing you have experienced is wasted. The pain you have endured, the questions unanswered, the prayers that fell to the floor of your dreams, all of these are seen by me. I gather every tear, every sigh, every hope that dared to rise in the night. Through your challenges, I am shaping in you a resilience that is not of your own making, but one that springs forth from my strength within you. Trust that your weakness does not disqualify you from my plans. It invites my power to shine through you with even greater brilliance. In lifting your heart toward me, you give me the very place where miracles can grow. Your dependency is not a flaw to be corrected, but the starting point for a deeper relationship, one where you find joy not in what you achieve, but in how you trust me. There is a rhythm to my ways that transcends striving and fear. I lead you gently, like a shepherd tending his flock across quiet fields and through valleys shadowed with uncertainty. Sometimes, you wish for the path to always be clear, every step illuminated, but I ask you to walk by faith. Each time you choose to trust me rather than the uncertainty around you, you build a history of faithfulness together with me, a mosaic of trust that will withstand any storm. When you look back, you will see my fingerprints on every page, even those that seem to be written with tears. Do not judge your story by merely one chapter. I am the author, and I am not finished writing the good things I have planned for you. It is easy for your mind to drift toward regret, to replay moments you wish you could change. But I am not the voice of condemnation. I am the God of new beginnings, always inviting you into the promise of today. Yesterday may hold lessons, but today is a fresh canvas for my love to be written. Release the versions of yourself shaped by shame, for I see your beauty shining through the cracks. Nothing in your past has rendered you unworthy of my affection or my purposes. Listen closely. My love is not based on your ability to perform, but on my unwavering commitment to you as my cherished creation. There is no shadow in your soul my light cannot reach. In your striving for approval and perfection, you can feel disconnected and weary, as if love is something to be won, but I have already declared you wanted, chosen, and treasured. No achievement secures your place in my heart, just as no failure can remove my embrace. Every time your spirit grows weary, rest in this truth. My love for you does not fluctuate or waver. Draw your strength from this foundation. Let it quiet your fears and silence voices of doubt. You are safe to belong, safe to hope again, because you are mine. I am not distant or disinterested. My attention is fixed on you, not as a distant observer, but as your constant companion. Every breath you take is held within my awareness. Every detail of your day matters to me. When you feel invisible or unheard, remember, you are seen fully and loved completely. My desire is not for you to live shackled by loneliness or driven by scarcity, but to know the abundance of my presence, even when no one else notices your tears or celebrates your victories. I am closer than your own thoughts, more faithful than any promise in the world. Let me speak into the places where fear has built walls, where anxiety overshadows hope. Breathe in the assurance of my presence. I am not the author of confusion, but of clarity and peace. When the future feels uncertain, I anchor you in my constancy. My plans for you are not ruined by mistakes, delayed by detours, or threatened by challenges. Everything surrendered into my hands becomes part of a redemption story that cannot be undone. I work in ways that often exceed your understanding, weaving together the details for your ultimate good. Nothing is beyond my ability to restore or renew. Some days you may carry questions that feel too heavy, or doubts you fear will separate you from me. Yet, I invite you to bring them, unfiltered and raw, into my presence. I am not offended by your need to understand. I welcome your honesty, for faith is not the absence of questions, but learning to trust despite them. As you pour out your heart, I pour in my comfort, answering not always with explanations, but with myself. My nearness is my answer, enough to quell your worries and bring assurance that you are never alone. I whisper hope into the silence, planting seeds of promise in the soil of your worship and prayers, even on days when you feel nothing is growing. Trust the slow miracle of my timing, for my seasons are perfect and my faithfulness never delays. When you grow impatient for results, remember, I am doing more beneath the surface than you can see. Stand firm and let your expectations be shaped by my goodness, not by past disappointment. You are being prepared for more than you have imagined, and I delight in surprising you with joy where you expected only answers. My child, your worth is not measured by the standards of this world, the opinions of others, or your own performance. I have called you my beloved, and that is your true identity. Let my truth soak into every part of you that feels unworthy or rejected. Where you have believed lies about who you are or what you can become, I am steadily dismantling those falsehoods, replacing them with the unshakable security of my affirmation. Open your heart to receive the deeper reality of my love, for it is from this place that true transformation flows. Every day I invite you to trade your exhaustion for my rest and your anxiety for my peace. Come as you are, with every hope and every hesitation, and find me faithful. This is the way of intimacy, a journey not of striving, but of surrender, not in perfection, but in relationship. In my presence, nothing is wasted, and nothing is impossible. Remain with me, and watch as I unfold grace and blessing in ways you never expected, for my love writes stories more beautiful than what the world could ever promise. Sometimes you feel as though the waiting is empty, as if the silence is a void into which your prayers vanish. Yet every moment you spend in longing and hope draws you nearer to my heart. In the secret place, the quiet corners of your soul, I am at work, shaping and refining you to receive what is good, perfect, and lasting. The very aches that trouble your spirit are the fertile soil where my promises take root. When you are still and attentive, you will sense the subtle stirrings of my hands, like a gentle gardener who never abandons the seed just because its growth is hidden beneath the earth. I understand the temptation to measure progress by what can be seen or counted, but my vision peers deep beneath the surface, cherishing the unseen growth and speaking life over your inward journey. Do not judge your days by outward results. Let your confidence rest instead in the unwavering faithfulness I have shown across generations. Just as I guided my people through barren wildernesses, where streams seemed impossible, I am making a way through the very dryness you fear may defeat you. Let not discouragement become your companion, for it offers no true counsel. Remember, I am the voice of comfort in the deep hours of the night, whispering hope even as doubts gather like storm clouds. You wonder how long you must hold out, or how your strength will carry you forward, but I have already woven endurance into your soul, a quiet tenacity that can only be discovered through walking one more step, lifting your eyes toward the unseen horizon. Each day you choose to trust me over your feelings, you are participating in a sacred exchange, trading anxiety for peace, lateness for perfect timing, uncertainty for a steadfast anchor. You are invited into daily partnership with me, not as a distant benefactor, but as a loving father whose delight is in every detail of your transformation. Listen closely in the pauses between your thoughts, for my counsel often comes not as thunder, but as the stillness that brings clarity. Silence is not your enemy. It is the chamber where my wisdom is poured out, refining your desires, pruning away what hinders, so that only the abundant fruit may remain. The world clamors for speed and easy answers, but I move according to truth and love, never hurried, never late. When disappointment tempts your heart, bring it into the light of my presence, and watch me reframe it not as a loss, but as preparation, a making ready for new joys you do not yet see. Trust that nothing has been wasted. The tears you have sown have watered the very ground where your harvest will spring forth. In moments when trust feels like an impossible climb, remember that you are not asked to scale the mountain in your own strength. I am the one who gives you footholds, who steadies your trembling legs, who places companions along your way to share burdens and multiply gladness. The journey was never meant to isolate you, but to teach you the depth of your need for me and for those around you. Let go of the lie that you must be strong at all times. My grace is perfected not in your self-sufficiency, but in your vulnerability and willingness to reach for help. Bring me your perceived failures, your aches, your questions, and I will show you that they are the raw materials for the beauty I am building within and around you. Even now, as uncertainty lingers at the edges of your path, know that my plans for you are woven with purpose. I do not dangle hope before you as a cruel game, but draw you onward by my faithful promises. Let your surrender be not resignation, but a yielding of your grip from things too small to hold your destiny. I know the longing that keeps you awake and the heartbeats behind every whispered prayer. Nothing about your story is unnoticed, no detail too small for my infinite attention. My love is relentless. It pursues you through both joy and sorrow, weaving together all strands of your experience into a tapestry of redemption and beauty. Stand firm when opposition arises, whether from without or the doubts that whisper within. I have equipped you with spiritual armor that does not rust or fail, forged in the fires of my own fidelity. Fill your mind with thoughts that echo my truth, and you will find strength in places you once felt only weakness. You cannot avoid every storm, but you never face them alone. My presence goes before you, surrounds you, and carries you when your own courage falters. Let your heart become like a well-watered garden, trusting that even in times when growth feels slow, the roots are deepening, drawing ever more nourishment from me. Cherish the moments of laughter and friendship I provide, for they are gifts gilded with my fingerprints, reminders that you are meant for connection, for celebrating the goodness that still flows despite difficulty. I am invested in every dimension of your life, not merely the spiritual, but your relationships, your work, your rest, your dreams. Invite me into the dailiness of your existence, not only in the emergencies or crises, but in the unfolding of each simple day. My joy is found in your willingness to walk beside me, in both the routine and the extraordinary, for I see all of it as sacred when it is surrendered to my loving guidance. Should you grow weary, remember that I am your rest. There is no shame in admitting your fatigue or pausing to catch your breath. In me, rest is not passivity, but restoration. A drawing back into wholeness so you can rise with renewed purpose. Let my kindness lead you to gentle rhythms, honoring your limits as part of my wise design rather than barriers to be ashamed of. I take pleasure in your flourishing, and I am endlessly patient as you learn to release expectations that do not serve your true fulfillment. Cast your burdens upon me, for I am strong enough to carry what overwhelms you. Let my peace settle over you like a blanket, softening the hard places and soothing the restless corners of your soul. Allow gratitude to become the language of your heart, even in uncertainty. Search for the traces of my faithfulness that dot your memories. These are the signposts that point you forward. As you recount the kindness shown to you, both great and small, your perspective will shift from scarcity to abundance, from anxiety to trust. I am the giver of all good gifts, and I delight in your recognition of my handiwork, the unexpected kindness of a friend, the beauty in a sunrise, the comfort of a promise whispered in prayer. These daily graces are the evidence that you are neither forgotten nor alone, but deeply known and cherished by me every step of the way. Let compassion for yourself and others arise from this sanctuary of trust. As I have shown you mercy, be generous in forgiveness and patience, remembering that every traveler on the road faces their own struggles and silent prayers. The love I pour into you is not meant to stop with you, but to flow outward, healing wounds both visible and hidden. Lift your eyes to see the broken, the lonely, the overlooked. As you offer kindness, you reflect my own heart to a world aching for hope. Your purposeful acts, however small, ripple outward in ways you may never see, but I witness every gesture, and nothing done in love is ever lost. When you open your heart to me, you begin to sense how I notice every detail of your life, not as a distant observer, but as a loving father who draws near. I know each moment of your day, the longings that stir within you, the struggles you feel you must hide, and the fears that sometimes cast a shadow over your hope. With every breath, I invite you into deeper trust, for there is no part of you that is too small, too wounded, or too complicated for my steadfast love. Do not measure yourself by what others see or by your own limited self-image. Measure yourself by my gaze, which is fixed on you with delight and purpose. Even in the silence, when it feels as if your prayers vanish into the air, I am still listening. I do not grow tired of your voice, nor do I turn aside when your words falter. When you come to me weary, unsure, heavy with burdens, you are not met with disappointment, but with tenderness. Bring me your doubt and your confusion, for I do not require polished speeches or perfect understanding, only a heart that is willing to come as an island. There are seasons when your path feels hidden, and you wonder if I have forgotten you. Hear me. I have carved your name into my memory. I have woven your story into my great, redemptive tapestry. This journey you are on is not random. Each valley, each mountain, every detour and pause is used by me to shape you into the fullness of who you are becoming. When pain lingers longer than expected, let me sit with you in the ache. When you are facing choices that feel overwhelming, listen for my gentle voice nudging you in the quiet. The decisions in front of you do not intimidate my wisdom. I do not rush you into certainty or punish you for not knowing. I am patient, guiding step by step, even when you do not see the full road ahead. I delight in your willingness to move forward, even when your steps are small and unsure. Your weaknesses do not repel me. They are invitations for my strength to be revealed in your life. Where you see limitation, I see opportunity for my grace. Your failures, the places you wish you could erase, are precisely the soil where my forgiveness and transformation bloom most beautifully. If you could see yourself through my eyes, you would no longer shrink back in shame or try to hide your scars. You would rise with quiet confidence, knowing your life is precious to me, every chapter and every scar. I am not searching for perfection, but for honesty and surrender. As you learn to trust my love for you, even your broken parts begin to heal. I have never called you to walk alone. Even on the days when isolation presses in and no human comfort can reach you, I surround you with my presence. I have placed you within a family greater than you imagine, the community of those who seek my face and bear my hope. If loneliness weighs on your spirit, let me remind you that you are part of something far bigger and more enduring than any earthly bond. Reach out not only to me, but to those around you who carry pieces of my heart. Sometimes the encouragement that lifts your head comes through the kindness of another. Sometimes I speak through your own voice as you encourage someone else. I see how much you try, the effort you put into loving others, the ways you stretch yourself to meet needs, the courage it takes to keep showing up when appreciation is scarce. I do not overlook a single act of faithfulness. Even when results are invisible to you, your labor in love is like a seed planted in fertile ground. I am the one who brings about the growth in ways and timing beyond your understanding. Do not compare your journey to another's, nor fret over whether your impact is enough. My measuring line is different from the world's, shaped by eternity rather than by fleeting human approval. Celebrate the small acts of obedience and let me use them in ways you may never see. There will be moments when old wounds resurface, threatening to overshadow the new work I am doing in you. In those moments, do not fight alone. Invite me into the pain and let my healing touch rewrite the story of your past injury. Let me remind you that no memory, however painful, is greater than my power to redeem. What was once a source of shame can become a testimony of hope to others. As you surrender the weight you have carried for so long, you will find freedom loosening the knots in your soul. Your story is not over. I am still writing it with tenderness and intention. Sometimes you wonder if your faith is strong enough, if you measure up to some invisible standard. I want you to know that faith is not a test you must pass, but a relationship you are invited to experience daily. Even mustard seed faith, uncertain and trembling, is enough for me to work miracles in your life. Bring me your fears, your questions, your disappointments. I do not turn away from wrestling hearts. Even in the struggle, I draw near, and I delight in your honesty. Faith grows in the soil of your dependence on me, watered by tears and laughter alike. Let go of the burdens you were never meant to carry alone. Anxiety, perfectionism, guilt, they lose their grip as you hand them into my capable hands. You are not responsible for holding everything together. I am your steady anchor when life's storms rage. My peace is not shaken by the chaos around you. Trust that as you lay down what overwhelms you, I will supply what you truly need. My provision may not always look the way you imagined, but it will always be rooted in my love and wisdom. Allow joy to return to you, even in small ways, as you open space in your heart for my presence. Celebrate the beauty around you, a kind word, a moment of laughter, the wonder of creation. Joy is not reserved only for moments when everything is perfect. It is meant to become a steady undercurrent, even in the midst of difficulty. When you allow my joy to take root, you find a new strength rising within you, a resilience that carries you through every season. Rest in my promises, which do not falter with time or circumstance. My word over your life is sure, even when doubts swirl. I am the keeper of your destiny, the author of every hope placed in your heart. As you meditate on my faithfulness in the past, let that remembrance fuel fresh courage for the days ahead. You are deeply loved, thoroughly known, and never beyond the reach of my grace. You may feel at times that your voice is small amidst the noise of life, that your prayers fly upward, yet return with silence. Hear me. Every sigh of your heart is precious to me. Before a word forms on your lips, I know it fully. When your thoughts tangle in confusion and you do not know what to pray, I listen for the longing behind your words and the ache beneath your silence. There is room within my understanding for all you cannot express. You do not have to impress me. Allow your prayers to be honest, even when messy or incomplete in your own eyes. My spirit is intertwined with your spirit, and before the throne of heaven, even your inarticulate groans become a song that moves my heart. Trust that I am not offended by your struggle. I welcome you as you are, not as you wish you could be. As you walk through uncertainty, remember that I am the unchanging one, the anchor through seasons of instability. Storms may shake the ground beneath you, hopes might seem to slip out of reach, but my faithfulness does not fluctuate with circumstance. Draw your strength from me, for I am the wellspring that will never run dry. Lay aside your striving to predict or control every outcome. Instead, surrender what you cannot hold and allow me to direct your path. In surrender, you will discover rest, not the absence of trials, but the presence of my steadying hand. There will be times when disappointment clouds your vision, when it seems that promises longed for are slow to appear. In these moments, do not let bitterness take root. Come to me with your honest pain, just as you are. I carry not only your burdens, but also your dreams. Some of what you grieve now is shaping space in your heart for something greater. I see the end from the beginning, and I will not withhold what is truly good for you. Delay does not mean denial. Rather, I use waiting to deepen your trust in me, to loosen your grip on what is temporary, and to anchor your soul in what truly lasts. You may wrestle with doubts, wondering if you have wandered too far, failed too greatly, or wearied me with your questions. My love is not fragile. It does not crack under your uncertainty, nor does it retreat when you stumble. I delight in your seeking, even when your steps falter. It is not perfection I ask of you, but a willing heart, a heart that keeps turning back to me again and again. Each time you do, you will find that I have not moved away. My arms remain wide open, waiting for you, offering grace that is unearned, favor that is unending. When you look around and see others advancing faster, experiencing blessings you have not yet received, resist the urge to compare or to question your worth. Every journey I write is unique, and my plans for you are shaped by infinite wisdom, not by the visible measures of the world. Trust that I have not forgotten you. Your portion is held safe in my hands, and at the appointed time you will see my goodness. Celebrate the victories of others without fear that it cost you anything. My kingdom is not a realm of scarcity, but of abundance, overflowing for all who come. I know how weariness can settle deep in your bones when you do good and see little result. Take heart, your faithfulness is never wasted. Seeds sown in quiet places will bear fruit in my time. The harvest is sometimes invisible at first, growing in secret beneath the soil of the everyday. Be steady. Even small acts done in my love shimmer with eternal significance. Do not measure by what you can see, but by the assurance that I am at work, even in ways hidden from your eyes. Let me teach you to rest, not as the world gives rest, but as only I can. This rest is not an escape from responsibility, but a return to the source of your strength. In communion with me, you will discover that your limits are the places where my abundance begins. Yield control, relinquish outcomes, and you will experience freedom that has no fear of tomorrow. I am not asking you to carry what was never yours to bear. Lay every anxiety before me, and let me exchange your heaviness for hope. If guilt or shame threatens to build walls between us, hear my invitation to draw near. I do not shame the wounded, nor despise the brokenhearted. My mercy has already run ahead of your failings, clearing a path for restoration. Nothing you confess can shock or disappoint me. My love covers every shortcoming, and my compassion stretches wider than any sin. Where you feel that you fall short, look to me. My sufficiency fills all your lack. I am the healer of hearts, the restorer of dignity, and the one who makes all things new. Let go of the belief that you must understand everything before you obey. Sometimes, clarity follows action. Your willingness to trust me in the unknown is itself a declaration of faith. Step out when I call, even if you cannot see the whole picture. I will be faithful to provide everything you need along the way. Remember, I am not only with you in sacred moments, but also in the mundane details of your days. There is no place so common, no task so ordinary, that my presence cannot transform it into something holy. You are surrounded by reminders of my faithfulness. Morning follows night, flowers bloom after winter, rivers carve new paths through stone. Let these be signs to you. I am always doing something new. Even in what feels like stagnation, I am preparing a breakthrough. What is buried will rise in its season. Do not despise small beginnings. I bring forth great harvest even from the smallest seed that is entrusted to me. Keep your eyes open for glimpses of my goodness. They are all around you, testifying that I am nearer than you think. Hold fast to hope, not as wishful thinking, but as a certainty rooted in my nature. Hope anchored in me does not disappoint. I have not forgotten a single promise I have made. My timing is wise, my plans secure, and my love unwavering. Lift your face to me, even in discouragement, and find the courage to persevere. I rejoice in your persistence, for each step of faith, however trembling, draws you closer to the fullness of life I long to give you. There are moments in your journey when you look for me and wonder if my presence is truly surrounding you. I assure you now, not only am I near, but I am closer than your next breath. When you feel isolated, that sensation of distance is not an absence, but an opportunity. I invite you to press in, to let the whisper of my love draw you deeper. Much as roots seek water far below the surface in drought, your spirit is stretching toward the living stream that I am. In hardship, your roots grow strong. When you choose to seek me not simply in comfort but in discomfort, you discover wells of hope and courage you did not know were within. My beloved, the days of sorrow or uncertainty are not markers of failure. They are invitations for deeper trust, for the surrender that does not demand explanations but delights in my hand, even when I am unseen. There are sacred spaces in your life, quiet corners where I speak softly to your heart. Listen for me there. Sometimes you expect thunderous signs or dramatic answers, but I am most often heard in the gentle quiet, in the small assurance that arrives unannounced. When anxieties threaten to crowd your mind, let stillness be your act of trust. Choose to rest your spirit, turning your gaze patiently toward me. Even as you pause, I am working. Even as you wait, my plans are unfolding. The world urges you to rush, to solve, to strive endlessly. But in my kingdom, rest is an act of faith, and waiting is never wasted. Receive the daily manna of my presence, and know that each moment you spend with me fuels your next step. You are not falling behind. You are being prepared for encounters and blessings, yet unveiled. Your struggles with doubt do not diminish my love for you. I am the patient teacher. I do not tire of your questions or your wrestling. I know every hidden fear and frustration. Bring your uncertainty to me. I welcome your whole heart, not just the polished parts you think are worthy of my attention. If you feel overwhelmed by patterns you cannot break or wounds you cannot heal, remember this: my power is perfected in weakness. The cracks in your confidence are where my light shines through. Where you see only lack, I see possibility. Where you anticipate defeat, I see a canvas for redemption. Every moment you choose faith, even if it is only as small as a seed, you are participating in the miracle I am weaving for you. Let go of the belief that you must be flawless before coming close to me. I invite you as you are worn, questioning, striving, still beloved. My embrace is given freely. My approval is not earned by performance. When you fail, do not hide from me. Run toward me, for I am your refuge. The world may judge, may withdraw its affection, may measure your value against impossible standards. I, however, measure your worth by the love I have declared over you. Love that existed before you drew your first breath. Love that will cover you in your last moment, and every heartbeat in between. No stain, no regret can erase the belonging I have written over your life. Trust requires courage, especially when the path ahead disappears into the mist. I know the things you hold tightly, plans you cherish, roles in which you find safety, routines that give structure. Yet, there will be times when I gently place my hand on what you grip most dearly and ask you to release it. Surrender does not mean loss. In my hands, surrender is the beginning of transformation. Just as a seed must fall into the earth and die to its old form before it releases new life, so must some of your comforts and certainties be surrendered for the greater harvest I have for you. You are not losing yourself. You are discovering the fullness of who you are always meant to become. Whenever you fear that your efforts are not enough, remember that I am the finisher of your faith. You are not alone in your battles. I stand beside you, strengthening you, cheering you forward even when you falter. I rejoice over every step you take toward wholeness, even the tiniest ones. Growth is measured not by perfection but by persistence. My eyes are kind toward your process, seeing the layers of courage, honesty, and compassion being shaped in you day by day. Resist the pressure to compare your journey to those around you. The narrative I am unfolding in your life is entirely unique, a testimony that only you can embody. Your story, with its valleys and peaks, its detours and delays, is not an accident. I am the author and finisher, and I craft nothing without purpose. In the moments you are tempted to despair, hold fast to hope. Hope is not the denying of your pain or pretending all is well. Hope is the stubborn clinging to the reality that, even now, goodness and mercy are pursuing you. I am not distant. I am the shepherd who leaves the 99 to find the one. I pursue you not because you have wandered too far, but because you are precious to me, your heart, your dreams, your very existence. No shadow can hide you from my searching light. If you feel lost, know that you are on my mind. Your every sigh is heard. Your longing for direction is felt. As you draw nearer to me, listen for the invitations embedded in your daily life. Kindness received or given, interruptions that reveal hidden beauty, small choices to forgive. These are sacred echoes of my heart for you. Do not mistake the quietness of my leading for absence. Like the gentle turn of the seasons or the slow growth of fruitful trees, I am at work in you, gradually forming a harvest of righteousness and peace. Every act of humility, every surrender of pride, every compassionate word spoken, these are seeds I water faithfully. Trust the process, even when fruit seems slow to mature. You may stumble, but you are never disqualified from my table. Your seat is not up for review, your invitation never rescinded. In trial and in triumph, in moments bright and dim, I am the unchanging anchor of your soul. You need not strive for worthiness. You are beloved because you are mine. You are free to come as you are to feast on my presence, to be strengthened for all that is ahead. If your burdens are heavy, offer them freely. I will lift them. If your heart is wounded, uncover it in my presence. I delight to heal. Nothing about you is hidden from me, and nothing is beyond my touch. Let your heart find rest in the knowledge that I delight in you, not only when you are strong, but even more so when you are honest about your weakness. Celebrate the days of small beginnings, for I see the future impact of every humble yes. When you open your hands to forgive, to bless, to simply try again, you align yourself with the transforming power of my love. Even now I am breathing life into your weary places, reviving hope where it is faded, declaring potential where you see only limitation. I invite you to believe again, to expect again, to be surprised by joy in unexpected places. In every season I am your faithful companion. You may not always perceive my nearness, but I promise you this: I will never withdraw my love. I am forming in you the resilience to face all circumstances, the wisdom to discern what is true, and the courage to step forward, even when you do not see the whole path. Rest in my constancy. Let my unchanging love be the backdrop to all your changing days. You are treasured more deeply than you know, and the best is yet to unfold as you continue the journey in my company. As I continue to draw near to you, know that every layer of your heart is of deep importance to me. Nothing is too small to capture my gaze, nor too intricate to escape my attention. When you allow me into hidden places and secret corners, you offer me the very spaces where I can bring the most powerful healing and transformation. It is not only your joys I delight in, but also your aches and disappointments, for I am a father who tends faithfully to wounded hearts. In the moments when you struggle most to believe in your own worth, when shame or regret casts its shadow across your spirit, I ask that you would look up and meet my eyes full of grace, not condemnation. My voice travels through the tangle of your worries and the noise of your doubts, whispering comfort and inviting you to release what you cannot carry alone. Do not underestimate the gift of simply being honest with me about everything. Your vulnerability is not a barrier, but a bridge to deeper intimacy with me. There are aches within you that words have never touched, and questions that have lingered far longer than you may even realize. Your longing for clarity, your persistent thirst for a love that truly sees and understands, these are not signs of failing, but evidence of life within you. I honor the depths of your searching, and I am not impatient with the process of your questions. You have felt misunderstood by others at times, perhaps even misjudged. Let me be your safe refuge, the friend who listens long and answers not only with words but with presence. When shadows swirl in your mind and your emotions feel raw or restless, do not try to tidy yourself up before coming near. Come as you are, stormy, gentle, grieving, hopeful, uncertain, or bold. However you arrive, I receive you completely, lacking nothing in my embrace. My love is not reserved for your best moments or withdrawn in your times of struggle. I am not keeping record of your failures nor waiting for you to get it right before I bless you with my nearness. Instead, I gently seek you again and again, extending the warmth of my acceptance in every setting. Your journey is unique, with valleys and mountaintops that others might never fully comprehend. Yet I know every step you have taken, the prayers you whispered in the dark, the silent tears, the small hopes you dared not voice. In my eyes, nothing about you is trivial or insignificant. I am deeply invested in your healing, your growth, your joy. When you ache for meaning, when you wrestle with questions about your purpose, let me remind you that you are not an accident of time or happenstance. Your life is a meaningful thread in a tapestry only I can see in completion. Sometimes, you have compared yourself to others, measuring your days against theirs, and wondering if you measure up. My beloved, you never need to compete for my favor. You have it now, wholly and without reservation. Let your soul breathe freely, knowing that who you are, and even where you are today, is seen, cherished, known. I am not measuring or grading you, but delighting in watching you become, slowly and surely, all that I dreamed when I knit you together. You are not overlooked by me. You are celebrated. At times you fear falling short or failing, not only in your own expectations but in mine. Let me gently lift this fear from your shoulders. My heart toward you is not harsh or impatient. My discipline is always from a place of perfect love, never anger or disappointment. I correct so that you might live in fullness and freedom, not to burden you further. If you stumble, I am the steady hand lifting you. If you wander, I am the shepherd who seeks you tirelessly. Do not allow guilt or shame to persuade you into silence. Nothing you confess surprises me or distances me from you. The miracle is that I love you as much at your lowest as at your highest, and my presence is the remedy that restores you again and again. I know it is hard at times to trust, especially where wounds are deep or trust has been broken before. You wish for assurance, a promise that you will not be abandoned or forgotten. Hear this: I am the one whose faithfulness spans generations. My promises are not light or fleeting, and I never turn away from the ones I love. I am here to rebuild your confidence in love, real love, the kind that endures through every season and trial. Sit with me in the quiet. Let my spirit quiet the storms inside you. In the stillness, you will hear again the truth that you are my delight and that I am always, always on your side. You may sometimes doubt whether your prayers are strong enough or your faith consistent enough to make a difference. Rest assured, it is not the size of your faith, but the size of my love that makes the impossible possible. Pour out your heart, whether the words are eloquent or stumbling, whether faith feels bold or barely flickering. I gather up every cry and treasure it. The small acts of trust, the smallest turning of your heart toward me, are precious seeds that I nurture and bring to fruit in their time. Resist the urge to judge yourself by your perceived spiritual performance. Spiritual life is not a contest to be won, but a journey to be experienced with me at your side. In the press of daily need, you can easily forget how near I am, how invested I am in all that matters to you. I am not distant or detached, but right here, offering to carry burdens with you, to celebrate with you, to guide you into peace that surpasses understanding. The world around you may be loud with anxiety or distraction, but within the shelter of my presence, you can learn the unforced rhythms of trust. I offer you rest, not just for your body, but for your soul. Here you will find a belonging that cannot be shaken. Here even your weaknesses become places of connection with me, places where grace flows in abundance. I see your longing to make a difference, to live with significance, to touch others with goodness. Take heart each day that you open your heart to me. You become the channel through which my love and light flow into the world. Do not underestimate the hidden impact of your kindness, your endurance, your hope. The seeds you sow, even in weakness, will bear fruit in ways you cannot yet see. I am using every part of your story, yes, even the chapters you wish were different, to touch others and to work for good. There is nothing wasted, nothing beyond hope's reach when you walk with me. Notice how I continually draw you into a deeper union with myself, not merely through extraordinary moments or fleeting spiritual highs, but through the ordinary rhythms of your days. I have hidden beauty within the routine and the unnoticed, laying treasures along the familiar paths you walk. While you may long for dramatic displays of my power or unmistakable signs, I often shape your heart with gentle, unseen hands, carving patience as you wait, sowing humility as you serve without applause, infusing hope even while you face what seems like silence. Let your faith perceive my nearness in the simplest of things, in the breath that fills your lungs, in the sunrise that greets you each morning, and in the quiet strength that carries you through burdens you cannot share with others. I am not absent in the small. I inhabit all things, speaking softly where you least expect. There will come moments when life's demands exhaust your spirit and doubt enters quietly, suggesting that perhaps I am distant or uninterested. These are the times I invite you to remember that my love is steadfast, unconditioned by your circumstances or your feelings. I see the times you wish you could press further, do more, pray harder, or understand better, and yet I cherish you exactly as you are here and now. My gaze does not falter, nor does my affection flicker with your moods. My child, you can rest in the certainty that nothing will make me give up on you. Come with your weariness and uncertainty. I am the one who restores souls, who lifts the head that hangs low, who fans the smallest ember of hope until it becomes a vibrant flame again. Do not underestimate the subtle strength growing within you. Whenever you choose not to respond with anger, or you offer a word of encouragement, or forgive someone who has hurt you, you enact my kingdom quietly in ways that ripple far beyond your sight. You often pray for me to change your circumstances, to remove pain or obstacles, but know also that I am using these very situations to shape you in ways that nothing else could. Each trial can become a sacred turning point, a place where fear gives way to trust and confusion softens into surrender. I am the steady presence guiding you not out of every storm but through them, teaching you to find peace that is anchored in me, not in outcomes. Though there are still mysteries on this journey you do not understand, I invite you to shift your question from, "Why must I go through this?" to, "What are you forming in me through this?" Lean into the possibility that where you feel weakest, my power can be shown most fully. You may feel as if you are failing or falling short, but I see the deeper battle you wage each day, choosing to return to me, refusing to settle for bitterness, and opening your heart again and again to grace that never runs out. Grace does not require you to achieve perfection. It asks only for your yes, for tiny acts of trust, for a heart that remains just open enough for me to come close. Sometimes, you look beyond yourself, wondering whether your life makes any difference at all. But consider, beloved, that the seeds you plant in the smallest acts of love, honesty, and faithfulness multiply in ways you may never see. What is done quietly and selflessly in my name carries a resonance that echoes throughout eternity. I measure success differently than the world. I count the cost of compassion, the courage inherent in vulnerability, the willingness to forgive 70 times 7, and the hidden endurance behind every gentle deed. You are making a mark that is not erased by the forgetting or misunderstanding of others. I track every tear, receive every whispered prayer, and delight in each step you take toward wholeness. When you reflect on all that lies behind you, resist the urge to define yourself by failures or missed opportunities. I do not catalog your life by your regrets. Instead, see your story as a tapestry in progress, a living work where darkness gives depth to the colors of redemption. What you would write off as wasted, I redeem. What you mourn as irreparable, I restore for my purposes. Take courage in the knowledge that nothing surrendered to me is truly lost. Even your wounds can become wells of compassion, shaping a gentler heart in you and offering shelter to others who hurt. Your growth may feel imperceptible, but none of it escapes my notice. Know that the longing you feel for deeper connection, for belonging, for significance, all have their perfect answer in me. The world offers imitations, fleeting validations, momentary comfort, but I am the source, unceasing, unshakable, overflowing. When shame tries to define your limits, remember that I see you through eyes of mercy and delight. You are not tolerated, you are wanted. You are not abandoned, you are chosen. Even when you feel surrounded by voices that diminish or doubt you, my voice whispers within, affirming that you are a delight to me, one for whom I have dreamed unique dreams and assigned sacred purposes. Each day you draw breath, you participate in the ongoing story I am telling through your life. I have entrusted you with a sphere of influence, no matter how wide or narrow, and ask only that you be faithful with what you have. The mundane tasks, the unnoticed sacrifices, the courageous yes to love, these are not forgotten in my kingdom. Let gratitude be the lens with which you see every hour, not as one more duty, but as a fresh invitation to discover me anew. Bring me your disappointments and unmet desires, and I will breathe fresh hope into them. My promise is not to remove all mystery or pain, but to be with you, guiding, holding, gently molding, until Christ's likeness shines more clearly through your being. Take heart when progress seems slow, when others race ahead, or when the fruit of your labor is not quickly seen. I am the gardener of your soul, patient and intentional, rejoicing over each sprout and blossom. Comparison steals your peace, so rest instead in my delight over your unique story. Your life does not need to match another's. I ask only for authenticity and openness, for willingness to let me rearrange your plans if it means more love may be revealed. Through every chapter, one of laughter, one of sorrow, one of waiting, or of new beginnings, I remain constant, holding the pen and weaving every line together in unfailing love. As you look toward what is ahead, remember that courage is not the absence of fear, but the choice to keep walking with me despite it. Do not shrink back or hide your heart because of disappointment. I have new horizons in store, new mercies waiting with the dawn, and invitations you have yet to discover. I am always ahead, calling you forward. Remain attentive to my leadings, even when they are gentle nudges rather than thundering commands. Trust that, as you continue opening your life to me in honesty, I will reveal more of my glory through you in ways you never dared to hope. I see you now, your heart quietly reaching for assurance, hungry for the whisper that reminds you every moment matters and nothing in your story is wasted. Look neither to yesterday's shadows nor to tomorrow's uncertainties, for I am here now with you. My love covers you like the dawn, casting out night's doubts, fresh and certain with every breath you take. I have watched the journey behind you, the triumphs celebrated and the tears that fell unseen, and not a single heartbeat was unnoticed by me. Every step you have taken, no matter how shaky, has angled you further into the shelter of my embrace. Let that become your resting place, the surety that I am, and always will be, with you. Even as you labor under burdens that feel unyielding, know that I do not stand far off, waiting for you to succeed before drawing near. Instead, I stoop low, meeting you at the ground level of your struggles, breathing courage when you feel weakest. Deep within your soul, I have sown seeds of hope and renewal, seeds that sometimes fracture the hardened places, bursting forth in unexpected ways. Trust in that hidden work. When you feel least fruitful, often that is when my grace works most powerfully within you. Where others may see little, I see the quiet victories, the unseen choices for kindness, the silent prayers that guard against despair. Every moment lived in faith is beautiful to me. Hear this: I do not measure you by your perfection, but by your willingness to keep turning toward me, again and again. When you stumble, I do not step back in disappointment. I reach out, my hand asking you to lean on me, to let me be your strength. Some may teach you to hide your brokenness, but I invite you to bring it all into my light, the shame, the fear, the regret, so I can transform it into testimonies of mercy. The world may press upon you with demands for achievement and appearance, but in my eyes, your honest longing for me is more precious than gold. I have prepared a path uniquely tailored for you, winding through valleys and mountaintops, each season shaped by my loving wisdom. In the loneliness, I am the companion who never turns away. In the laughter, I am the joy beneath your smile. When you encounter obstacles that seem insurmountable, remember that I am not a distant observer. I am the source of rivers in your wilderness, the gentle press of comfort when you cannot find the words to pray. Bring me your frustration and your gratitude, your confusion and your praise, holding nothing back, for I am big enough for every feeling you carry. Let go of the empty striving that exhausts your soul. I never asked you to earn my love or prove your worth. I declared it freely before your first cry sounded on this earth. You are mine, chosen and cherished, not for what you do, but for who I created you to be. Beloved, unique, seen, and known. My delight in you is deeper than your ability to comprehend, and nothing you face can separate you from my steadfast commitment to your good. As days pass and circumstances shift, remember the unshakable truth. My promises never change. I invite you not just to recite words about me, but to experience my presence in the ordinary details of each day. See me in a sunrise after a long night, a shared meal, a kind gesture given or received. Listen for my voice in laughter, in silence, in tears, and you will begin to recognize how I weave through every strand of your life. Invite me into your plans and uncertainties, allowing my spirit to guide, comfort, and empower you in ways beyond what you can imagine. When you fail to see progress, do not let discouragement steal your hope. My timing is perfect, and I am never late in fulfilling what I have promised. Continue to place your trust in me, sowing seeds of obedience even when results are invisible. Your faithfulness matters more than outcomes, for it is in these small, unseen steps that I build character, resilience, and unshakable peace within you. Trust that every act of trust, every quiet yes, is gathering harvest you will one day rejoice to see. Your heart is safe with me. The deepest vulnerability, the loudest ache, the wildest hope, I honor and cherish it all. Never be ashamed to come to me as you are, for I have already carried your sorrow and lifted your burdens. Remain open to my voice, responsive to my whispers, even in the familiar routines of life. It is there, in the everyday, that transformation takes root and your spirit becomes more attuned to my invitations. Draw near to me. Let your life become an ongoing conversation with me, a partnership shaped by trust and surrender. Do not fear seasons of waiting, for those are the sacred spaces where your roots sink deeper and your spirit learns to rest in my sufficiency. In the waiting, I am never idle. I am working wonders in your heart, preparing new mercies that will one day emerge with breathtaking clarity. Above all, remember this: you are chosen, you are called, you are loved without limit. My arms are open, my heart is for you, and my purposes for your life are good. Rise each morning with the confidence of one who is truly known and deeply loved. As you go, carry my peace and share it freely with others, allowing your life to become a beacon of hope that points back to me. Do not be afraid. I am with you, I am for you, and together we will journey onward into the fullness of the life I have dreamed for you. You have come seeking something deep within your heart, and I see you. The desire that has drawn you here is no ordinary longing, but rather the gentle stirring of my presence within you. Let your heart rest now, because these words have been prepared for this very moment, for your questions, your burdens, and your hopes. Even before you uttered your need, I was already anticipating this encounter, knowing how to reach you with understanding and compassion. There are truths here you have not yet tasted, and I invite you to approach them with an open spirit. Some things I am about to reveal may surprise you, not because they are complicated, but because they reach into the deepest places of your life, the places you sometimes hesitate to expose, even to yourself. Listen and let your fears be quiet, for what I am sharing with you is meant to guide you gently but powerfully into a new space of freedom. If you close your heart or turn away, you may miss a gift uniquely shaped for you, with healing and wisdom only I can give. I am not far off or cold. My voice comes to you now not through pages of ancient history, not through distant interpretation, but here, direct, alive, and personal. What I say to you now is for your life, at this moment. Let me speak to the restlessness inside you, that sense of hunger which no earthly thing has ever managed to satisfy. You have exhausted yourself at times in seeking affirmation or purpose from those around you, or from goals and achievements that promised so much and delivered so little. Time and again, disappointments have left you wondering if anything can truly satisfy your soul. But I want to tell you that your longing is not a flaw or a problem. It is evidence of a design only I know fully. You were made in my image, with a capacity for hope that exceeds explanation. When you search for meaning, you are following a thread that leads back to me. I am not offended by your need, by your doubts, or even by your moments of frustration. Instead, I am moved by them because every cry of your heart is precious to me. It is in the emptiness that you most clearly hear my invitation. Come close, and let me fill what nothing else can. You may fear being truly seen, believing there are corners of your past or present that would cause me to turn away. Yet here is the truth. My sight is perfect, and not one shadow in your life is hidden from me, nor does any of it repel me. My love does not shrink from your mess. It is a love trained by sacrifice and understanding, a love that does not excuse failure, but transforms it. I have watched over every step you have ever taken, weeping with you in pain, rejoicing with you in victories, holding you in uncertainty. Nothing is wasted in my hands. Even your brokenness, if placed before me, becomes the very soil in which new life is born. Do not be afraid to offer me the real substance of your life, the truth beneath the polite exteriors you sometimes wear to protect yourself from disappointment. The world often tells you who you ought to be, pushing you towards standards that are ever-shifting and burdensome. Let me show you that my ways are different. I define you by a love that does not change, even as you grow or stumble. You do not need to earn my attention or compete for my affection. You already have it, forever unearned, unbroken. My plans for you are not fragile or easily ruined. They account for every detour. You can rest in this. Nothing you have done, nothing you will do can exhaust my patience. I do not keep a ledger of failings to wave before you. Instead, I delight in every moment you return, every time you reach out, no matter how small your faith may seem. Let me draw near to you in this intimate exchange. I have walked every pathway of human experience, not only reigning in majesty, but taking on the vulnerability of flesh, entering into joy and suffering alike. When your heart is cold or weighed down, remember that I have known the taste of loss, of loneliness, of fear. You are never alone, even when it feels as though every door is shut. My presence is like breath unseen but sustaining, a quiet strength when yours falters. I am here not merely as a distant observer but as a companion, as the one who truly understands because I have walked the road before you. Let my words be a gentle rain on the hardened places within you. Sometimes you have grown tired of striving, exhausted by the noise and expectations that press in from every side. In those moments, I invite you to come aside and rest, laying the weight of demands at my feet. You do not have to pretend or fix yourself before coming to me. Bring your confusion, your pain, your questions. I receive them all gladly. My hands are capable, my heart is patient. And so, as you listen and let these words take root, watch as hope begins to stir like dawn over a troubled night. Do not rush away from this encounter, for in lingering you will find treasures meant only for those who wait in expectation. The world offers many voices, each promising fulfillment, but leaving you emptier. Let my voice quiet all the others. My child, you have never been forgotten or overlooked. Not for a moment. Let my presence be the place where your heart is restored. There is a tenderness in my love that meets you exactly where you are. I see the fatigue behind your smile. The prayers you fear are too insignificant to matter, the dreams you have almost abandoned. I am the God who remembers, who sees the single tear and the heart that aches to be known. Even now, I am breathing new life into your weary places. Trust not only in my power, but in my gentleness, the patience with which I work in and through you. If you could see yourself as I see you, wrapped in compassion and shining with possibility, you would marvel at your worth. The image you carry of yourself is sometimes marred by shame or by the harsh words of others. Let me paint a different picture. I do not see you through the lens of your failings, but through the lens of the price I have paid for you, a price no one else would or could offer. My love is not withdrawn at your lowest. It is most fierce and determined there. So lean in, for what I have yet to speak will illuminate more than your mind. It will warm and heal the deep places of your spirit. Allow these next moments to be a holy interruption, a turning point where my intentions for you are made clearer than ever before. Even now, I am preparing the soil of your heart to receive what will transform your days ahead, no matter what lies behind. Trust me, for as you open yourself to my truth, you will discover not only who I am, but who you are meant to be in my eyes. I know well the thoughts that linger in your heart, the silent questions that stir just beneath the surface. Even as you read these words, you may wonder if I truly see you, if my promises apply to the depths of your life and your unique struggles. Let me calm those doubts. There has never been a moment when my gaze turned away from you. I am closer than the air you breathe, knowing each hope, each hidden wound, each ache for meaning. As you journey through these words, allow yourself to believe, even if only for a moment, that you sit in the center of my affection and attention, and that what is unfolding here is meant specifically for your spirit's refreshment and guidance. In this space, I invite you to loosen your grasp on fear and familiar patterns of self-protection. The world urges you to shield your heart, to march through chaos with walls raised high, but my invitation is different. I am not seeking your perfection or performance. I desire your honesty, a simple willingness to come as you are. You need not tidy your soul before you approach me. My love can reach through any confusion or shame that might cloud your vision. This is not merely a message of comfort, but a living current of my presence reaching for you right now, ready to lift burdens you cannot carry on your own. Often you have measured your worth by the changing tides of circumstance and the opinions of others. Perhaps you have searched for approval in hurried achievements or in meeting others' expectations. I see how deeply you long to be known and chosen, not just for your strengths, but also for the places you feel weakest and most vulnerable. To me, there is nothing hidden or accidental about you. Each part of your story, even the chapters that feel broken or disappointing, is gathered in my hands with purpose. While you fret over what hasn't gone as planned, I am tracing a greater design with gentle, unwavering patience. You have felt the bite of disappointment and the dull ache of prayers unanswered according to your timeline. I hear every sigh behind your words, every hope that flickers in the darkness. There is no wasted longing in my kingdom. I gather each tear, regard each yearning as precious, and reshape what seems barren into gardens only I can make bloom. Even now I am moving in the shadows, birthing new life in places your eyes have yet to see. Hold fast to this mystery. I waste nothing, not even the seasons that confuse or humble you. For far too long you may have believed that your struggles and stumbles put distance between us. In truth, they become the very places where my compassion runs deepest. My love is not withdrawn when you falter. Instead, I draw close, ready to restore and renew what seems too far gone. Do not allow shame to persuade you to hide. Instead, let it be an invitation deeper into my embrace. For where you bring your real self, I release the grace you most crave. Even your neediness, your most desperate prayers, are not offenses to me. They are signals of your heart's openness, the very thing I seek. What I desire is closeness, not ritual, surrender, not striving. It grieves me when you carry alone what was meant to be shared with me, the silent burdens, the loneliness, the unspoken dreams. I never intended for you to trek forward in your own strength. I am not a distant judge counting your mistakes, but a loving father who delights in sharing your burdens and carrying you when your own feet falter. I want to remind you, real strength begins where your defenses end. In moments when you come to me not because you feel worthy, but because you need me, you find my sufficiency poured out in ways you could never earn. Let your heart rest from the exhausting pursuit of proving yourself. In my presence, you do not compete for affection or vie for a place at the table. My invitation is constant, my welcome certain. You do not achieve my favor, you receive it. Allow this truth to settle into your bones. You are prized and pursued by me, not because of your performance, but simply because you belong to me. This belonging is unshakable, rooted in my eternal purpose and unbreakable promise. No circumstance, no failing, no accusation from within or without can snatch you from my grasp. With every beat of your heart, I am near, never reluctant, always eager to meet you where you are. Consider how gently I lead you, how faithfully I whisper hope into your discouraged moments. Sometimes you expect me to speak in thunder and spectacle, but more often I come with the steady voice of peace in your unrest. You need not fear missing my guidance. Even when you wander or hesitate, my hand is steady. I am skilled at bringing you home, skilled at redirecting your steps and redeeming your detours. Trust that I am never impatient with your process. I see the full length of your journey, and I walk beside you, celebrating each small act of faithfulness that no one else may see. Let's leave behind the old measure of success that the world has given you. I rejoice not in outward accomplishments, but in the quiet trust that stirs in your spirit when you choose to hope, when you bring your weakness to me rather than withdraw. The victories I see are different than what you have learned to value: moments of forgiveness, a heart that dares to love again, mercy shown to another when it costs you something. These are the treasures that last, the marks of my kingdom growing within you. Where others see only what is lacking, I see potential birthing gifts yet to be awakened, compassion forged from adversity, wisdom shaped by your willingness to let me reshape you. You are not defined by your hard seasons or mistakes. Instead, each moment surrendered becomes a seed in my garden, destined to bear fruit in ways you cannot yet imagine. When discouragement threatens to settle in your soul, let my perspective steady you. What feels like delay may be my protection. What appears as loss may be my preparation for greater things. In the silent spaces where answers do not come quickly, I am present, listening to every silent plea, attentive to each heartbeat. My silence is never absence, but space for what is deeper to take root. I am not wasting time. I am weaving together your joys, your sorrows, your lessons, and your dreams into a tapestry you will one day see with wonder. For now, trust the gentle pull of my love. It is the truest thing about you. Yield your anxieties and let me speak a better word over your life than the troubles and fears that have grown loud in your mind. You are known, you are safe, you are chosen and dearly loved, whether your faith feels bold or barely a whisper. This day, and every day, I offer you myself, not just answers or solutions, but my living presence, which satisfies far beyond what you can imagine. You find yourself sometimes shrinking back from the fullness of who you are meant to be, weighed down by memories or fears that echo from the past. I see every hidden ache, every flicker of doubt that crosses your mind, and still, I call you forward. Let my kindness draw you out of the corners where you try to disappear. Where you once heard voices that said you are not enough, listen instead for mine, the voice that spoke galaxies into existence and still makes time to whisper your name. Hear me tell you that you are chosen not because of perfection, but because of your willingness to turn your heart toward me again and again. Where shame tries to build a wall, let me be the hand that gently helps you climb over, raising your face to meet my gaze, unashamed and free. Even in your uncertainty, I ask you to let go and find comfort in my steady presence. Remember how a river does not worry about the shape of stone. It simply flows around obstacles, shaping the landscape in beauty and grace. In the same way, my spirit moves gently yet powerfully through your life, softening what is hard, carrying away what does not belong, making a path where none existed before. There is no corner of your soul that my love cannot reach, no wound so deep that I cannot out-heal it. What you bring to me, your hurt, your confusion, your quiet surrender, is not a weakness, but a doorway for healing. Each time you lean into me instead of running away or numbing your pain, you forge a deeper trust between us. A trust that is stronger than what you ever imagined. Do not imagine that your growth goes unnoticed or that your stumbles outweigh your steps forward. I delight in every moment you choose me over your fear, every time you offer something small from your heart in faith. Others may measure your worth by how far you've come or how little you falter. But I see your willingness to be transformed, to be made new with each breath. This is the miracle I work within you, a quiet, steady remaking that confounds the wisdom of the world. When you feel your progress is slow or hidden, look closer. New tender shoots often break ground before anyone notices. I am the faithful gardener, tending the soil of your soul, ensuring that what I plant will thrive, even through difficult seasons. Let the comfort of my nearness replace the icy grip of worry. I am not only with you in bright, clear moments, but especially in the bruised twilight when hope feels thin. When you wonder what the future holds or how you will endure the pressures of today, remember that I am the one who holds time itself. I see the beginning and the end, and I weave all things together for your good. My promises do not expire. My faithfulness is not exhausted by your struggles. In your darkest night, keep your heart open to me. I am already at work, quietly and decisively turning what is meant for harm into seeds of blessing. My love is not dependent on your ability, but on my unchanging nature. Rest in the certainty that you belong to me, and nothing can snatch you from my hand. When you are tempted to retreat into old habits or disbelief, pause and listen. I am right here. The things that once defined you, loss, mistakes, disappointments, are not your identity. Let me write a new name on your heart, one that speaks of value, redemption, and hope. Every day is an invitation to begin again. I do not demand perfection, but I rejoice each time you take a step, however small, toward me. When you feel weighed down by guilt or regret, remember, my mercy is new every morning. Let the light of my compassion warm the cold places in your soul. You are more than your failures. You are the object of my affection, loved deeply and fiercely, cherished beyond comprehension. Let yourself hear my voice in the quiet moments, in the laughter that bubbles up unexpectedly, in the beauty woven into everyday life. My guidance does not always come as thunder or earthquake. Often it is the gentle nudge, the whisper in your heart. When you are willing to listen, I lead you not through burdensome demands, but through invitations to trust, to rest, and to rise in courage. You may not always know the next step, but I have already prepared the ground before you. Trust me to illuminate your path as you need it, not always with blinding certainty, but with enough light for the next faithful step. You were never meant to journey alone. My presence is your constant companion, your friend and shepherd. I see the tears you cannot share with anyone else, the secret hopes you hold close. I do not turn away from your vulnerability. I embrace it, drawing you nearer, making you stronger in ways you never anticipated. Do not be ashamed of your need. I am not impatient with your struggles or surprised by your questions. I welcome honesty, even when it is raw and unfiltered. Bring everything to me, your doubts, your passions, your longing for a life that matters. I take what you surrender and return it to you, transformed with meaning and beauty. As you walk this path, know that I am not only the destination but also the one who walks beside you. Every joy you experience, I celebrate with you. Every sorrow, I shoulder with you. When you cannot find words to pray, know that your sighs and tears are eloquent in my sight, and I hold them tenderly. The things you worry about are not too small for my concern. Nothing escapes my attention. I am attentive to every detail, weaving threads of grace into each moment of your journey. Allow the assurance of my presence to calm your racing heart. Even when the way ahead feels hidden, you can trust that I am leading you by a sure path. Listen then, for the song I am singing over your life, a melody of hope, belonging, and unbreakable love. When you feel lost and alone, tune your ear to my faithfulness. I am singing in the stillness, in the rush of daily demands, in the silence of uncertainty. Let that song rise within you, giving you courage to trust, to rest, and to keep moving forward. I am not far off. I am as close as your next breath, ready to pour my love into your waiting heart. Surrender your striving, and let me be enough for you. You are safe in my embrace, and I will never let you go. You sense within yourself a stirring, a gentle whisper beckoning you to come a little closer, to draw near without reservation or fear. I invite you to lay aside all preconceived ideas of how I speak, and let your heart open to new depths of communion. Even now, I am sowing seeds of hope in your soul, ready to produce fruit in seasons to come. Feed on what I am sharing with you, for every word is alive, infused with the power to transform. You may feel weary from striving, longing for rest, or secretly uncertain if I am truly attentive to your smallest concerns. Remember, I am not a distant observer. I am a loving Father, infinitely near, caring about all that troubles and delights you. When you ache, I notice. When you celebrate, I rejoice. The rhythm of your days finds echo in my heart. It is not your performance I desire, but your presence and vulnerability before me. It is in this raw, unguarded space that healing flows like a river weaving through a parched wilderness, nourishing what was dry and forgotten. You might notice thoughts rising up, telling you that you're unworthy or that your mistakes define you. The enemy would have you chained to shame, replaying memories of failure, keeping you from seeing what I see. But I have already cast your shame into forgetting, and I see you clothed not in regret but in purpose. The world judges by appearance and past, judging harshly, but I look beneath the surface. I see your longing, your desire for meaning, and your willingness to try again. Every falter and every sigh is known to me, and with every breath I draw you onward, urging you not to settle for definitions written by pain or bruised by comparison. My love is the truest mirror, and if you gaze long enough, you will begin to recognize yourself in the reflection, beloved, redeemed, and set apart for something uniquely beautiful. There are wounds in your life, perhaps covered for years, places you have closed out of necessity or guarded for self-protection, yet nothing is so closed that my light cannot enter. My presence is gently persistent, never forcing, always inviting. I long to show you that your wounds are not signs of failure, but invitations for my glory to be revealed in surprising ways. Just as gold is refined in fire, I use pain not to break you, but to draw out new strength. Where you see ruins, I see the foundation for renewal. Where you mourn, I am already planting seeds of comfort that will, in time, blossom into a joy unexplainable. It is tempting to believe that your journey has not measured up, that you are somehow behind, that you lack what others possess so easily. I urge you, release the comparison and the striving that leaves your heart restless. I did not design you to be a copy of another's story. Each life, each set of experiences and gifts is woven precisely for the song only they can sing. Your life's melody is unlike any other, and I delight in the sound you produce, even the notes you thought were discordant, even the pauses where you thought purpose was lost. Nothing is wasted. Every chapter, even the ones marked by sorrow or silence, matter in the masterpiece I'm unfolding through you. You wonder about my dreams for your life, and if you have missed your moment, let me assure you, nothing can thwart my purpose when your heart remains open. Circumstances shift, disappointments arise, but my plans are deeper than the surface tides of change. I work in the background, orchestrating possibilities where you see only dead ends. Trust me with what you cannot yet understand. Your growth is not measured by rapid achievement, but by the tenderness with which you let me shape your inner world. Roots dug deep in trust and surrender can withstand any storm. Sometimes you hesitate, unsure if you can really trust again, hope again, step out again. Fear whispers that disappointment is inevitable, that vulnerability only leads to pain. But I say to you, courage is not the absence of fear, but your willingness to move forward in spite of it, leaning on me rather than your own strength. When storms arise, do not fix your gaze on the wind and waves. Look to me. My hand is always extended, inviting you to walk above the chaos, to believe for what seems impossible, to rest even in uncertainty, because you know who stands with you in the storm. You have experienced seasons of waiting, and perhaps you've grown tired, wondering if I have forgotten or if answers are delayed because of your shortcomings. My beloved, waiting is not a punishment, but preparation. In the hiddenness, I prepare you for what I am about to unveil. I refine your desires, clarify your motivations, and anchor your hope not in outcomes, but in my unchanging nature. When the fulfillment comes, you will understand why the journey mattered as much as the destination, because through it all you grew more attuned to my voice, more grounded in my love. Nothing in your waiting season is wasted or unnoticed. Amid uncertainty, it is easy to turn inward, to live guarded and skeptical, protecting yourself from more pain. But I call you to brave openness, not to recklessness, but to trust. Vulnerability is not weakness. It is the birthplace of authentic relationship with me. When you unclench your fists and lay down your defenses, I fill your hands with peace. When you risk honest prayer, speaking your fears and hopes without pretense, I answer not just with words, but with my gentle presence, comforting and empowering you. The world may not always understand your surrender, but in me, you find a resting place no one can take away. You yearn to walk in purpose, to know that your days matter not just to yourself but to eternity. Every action done in love, every unseen kindness, every sacrifice offered in hiddenness is precious to me. Your value is not determined by applause or recognition, but by my delight in seeing you grow into the fullness of who you are in me. Nothing is wasted, not even your tears, for I collect each one. What you sow in faith and perseverance, even when unnoticed by others, bears fruit that endures beyond what you see. As you press on, know that I go before you and behind you, making each crooked path straight. I am not just for you in the victorious moments, but especially when you feel weak or lost. My grace upholds you when you falter, teaching you new lessons in mercy and dependence. Do not despise small beginnings or quiet faithfulness. These are the building blocks of greatness in my kingdom. The smallest seed entrusted to me grows into a mighty tree. So too, your small daily choices made with love are shaping a harvest greater than you can currently imagine. Let hope become the lens through which you interpret your story. Hope is not a denial of difficulty, but a declaration that my goodness will have the final word. When shadows lengthen and doubts crowd in, lift your eyes to me. My promises are sure, my timing perfect. Each dawn testifies to my faithfulness, and I am writing new chapters for you even now. You look at the journey so far and wonder if you have truly moved or grown at all. You measure your progress, and sometimes see only failure or steps backward, but I see the unseen work within your heart. I have marked each moment that you chose love over indifference, each time you reached out in kindness even when you felt empty. I have noticed the battles you fought in silence, the temptations resisted, the words withheld, and the hope chosen in the face of disillusionment. None of these have escaped my loving gaze. My delight in you is not contingent upon heroic stories, but on the quiet courage of a heart trusting me amid uncertainty. When you feel stuck or unchanged, remember that springtime follows a long, hidden season, roots growing in darkness before flowers break the surface. I am never measuring your value by public victories or accomplishments, but by the secret surrender you offer me daily. Release the pressure you place upon yourself to perform for my favor. I did not set you in the world to secure your place through endless striving. My approval is not a reward for perfection, but a gift grounded in who I am. When shame whispers that you are not enough, invite me into that vulnerable space. Let my presence be an anchor instead of the weight of your self-reproach. I know every motive, every longing, every contradiction within you, and yet I call you beloved. If you could see yourself through my heart, you would move through each day with gentle confidence, knowing your identity is secure. My love does not waver or withdraw when you struggle. I am not surprised by your humanity or discouraged by your slow-growing faith. Instead, my joy is to walk beside you, to strengthen your weakest moments, and to restore you when you falter. Do not allow fear to set limits on your dreams or create boundaries where I have given freedom. I invite you to step into possibilities you have not yet imagined, to trust that I am preparing a future for you, tailored with hope and peace. When the past tries to chain you to old regrets or memories, lift your eyes. I am doing a new thing even now. I am not restricted by what has been. Every wound and every loss can become the soil for resilience and compassion if you entrust them to me. The world will suggest that broken stories are finished stories, but I see new beginnings rising from the ashes. Allow me to gently rewrite what you thought was irredeemable. Let me breathe life into what you have already surrendered as lost. You may be waiting for outward changes, a shift in circumstance, a resolved conflict, a tangible breakthrough. Yet I want to teach you the beauty of transformation from within. True change begins in your spirit and works its way outward, often unseen and gradual but never insignificant. Trust the process. Trust my timing. Do not despise small steps or quiet seasons. The field is not empty just because the first shoots are still beneath the soil. I am cultivating patience and depth in you, teaching you to live from a well that cannot be emptied by changing conditions. Set your heart to listen for my whispers in the ordinary, for I am near in the stillness as much as in the spectacle. Bring me all your hopes, fears, and questions. I am not threatened by your doubts or overwhelmed by your confusion. Your questions are safe with me. I welcome your honesty. When you cannot see the path ahead, I will give you light for each step, and my hand will steady you when your faith is frail. Do not believe that coming to me requires certainty or flawless devotion. I desire relationship, not ritual. Speak to me as you are in joy and anger, in gratitude and grief, in faith and in uncertainty. My nearness is not conditional, and you do not have to hide any part of yourself from me. Others may judge by what is visible, by outward measures and passing moments, but I delight in authenticity. I am drawn to the realness of your heart, not your ability to wear masks or maintain appearances. I see you when no one else does, and I rejoice over you as my own. Let go of shame that keeps you in hiding. Step into the freedom that comes from being fully known and still fully loved. There is nothing you can reveal that will alter my resolve to remain by your side. My acceptance is the foundation you can build your entire life upon. When you face setbacks or repeated struggles, refuse to accept the lie that you are disqualified or forgotten. I have not abandoned you in your difficulty. I am most present in your pain, gently gathering every tear and turning even your difficulties into pathways for growth. When you return to me after faltering, I embrace you with celebration, not condemnation. My forgiveness is not rationed or delayed. It flows freely, covering each moment as often as you need. Lean into my mercy, for it is new every morning. Let it wash over your failures and lift you into a day filled with fresh opportunity. Your story is sacred to me. Each page, each hope, each disappointment is known and cherished. I am weaving a masterpiece that you cannot yet comprehend. Resist the urge to compare your path to others' journeys. Your portion is uniquely crafted by my wisdom and love. My plans for you are not diminished by others' successes or complicated by the world's noise. Our relationship is intimate and personal. What I speak to you is tailored to your spirit alone. Trust the voice of love within you, and silence the competing voices that sow confusion or insecurity. Stay close to me when questions multiply or when clarity seems far away. I am not distant or silent. I am always communicating, always guiding, always loving. My guidance sometimes arrives in ways you do not expect: a softening of your heart, an unlikely grace, a sudden courage to take the next step. Notice these gentle nudges. Your sensitivity to my leading grows with each act of trust. Do not despise your vulnerability, for it is the place where I meet you most powerfully. In weakness, you are never alone. My strength operates best when you are honest about your need. The world may move quickly, celebrating instant results and visible change, but I call you into a slower, deeper rhythm. Trust that true growth is often invisible and unglamorous, like a seed gestating in the earth. Continue to show up, to keep your heart open, and to allow me to guide the work within you. I am patient, and my timing is perfect. I am never rushed, and you do not have to be either. Rest in the knowledge that I am faithful to complete every good thing I have begun in you. My promise remains: I am here. I am for you, and nothing can separate you from my love. You have already learned that my ways are often hidden in simplicity, yet lead you into ever-unfolding depths. Now I draw you closer to recognition of my voice, for you may find yourself wondering which whisper is truly mine and which springs from your own hopes or fears. I want to assure you, I have crafted your spirit with the ability to discern. I am not a distant mystery hiding the path from you, but a loving Father who intends you to know my tone, my heart, and my wisdom unmistakably. When I move near, confusion gives way to clarity like morning mist dissolving in sunlight. Be at peace, for I never tease you with uncertainty. I speak in the gentle urgings of love, the sudden clarity that springs up in still moments. the conviction that urges you to move toward goodness and away from harm, always inviting, never coercing. I will teach your heart to know me more surely as you linger in my presence. Remember that I am not a harsh master demanding flawless listening, my beloved. I am patient with your process. When you come with your questions and doubts, you do not frustrate me. I invite your honest hunger, your searching, your admissions of, God, I do not know what to do. It delights me to see your willingness to wait, to ask, to receive without pretense. As you spend time with me day after day, your discernment will grow not by your striving, but as a vine grows stronger simply by remaining in good soil. Let the habit of returning again and again to my quiet invitation become your natural rhythm. The more you look for my fingerprints in your day, the more familiar they become. The more you rest in the assurance of my love, the less anxious you will feel about missing my leading. When you stumble and worry that you have gone astray, do not let shame drive you into hiding, for I am not surprised by your frailty. My eyes are full of compassion when you falter. Turn toward me rather than away. Let me reshape your choices and make even your missteps part of your story of growth. Nothing is wasted in my hands, not your confusion, not your regrets, not even those seasons when my voice seemed silent. In all things, I am weaving redemption. Release yourself from self-condemnation. Let me teach you to return to me not out of fear but out of trust, as a child who knows the arms waiting at home are always open. The world around you is noisy with opinions, restlessness, and shifting truths. Many will claim to speak for me, to know what is right, to point you in this direction or that. Yet I remind you that my voice brings you peace even when it calls you to courage. My leading never coerces you into anxiety or confusion. Instead, my spirit gently convicts, always with hope and with the assurance that you are never alone. The more you practice listening, the more you will feel when something does not fit the shape of my heart. I am developing your inner compass, one that leans into my character more than any rule book. This is the true mark of maturity in my kingdom, not just knowledge about me, but living, breathing intimacy with me. I ask you to trust the process even when it feels slow. Growth in discernment is not a single event, but a journey marked by many small, faithful choices, pausing, praying, risking obedience, even with trembling hands. In each little surrender, you make space for me to shape your desires, calm your apprehensions, and direct your steps in ways you could not have imagined before. Even your mistakes cannot uproot you from my purpose. I am endlessly resourceful in leading you back to fruitfulness. Let this free you from perfectionism. Rest in the joy that you are learning to walk with me, not just for answers, but for the gift of my companionship. You may desire dramatic signs or unmistakable instructions, but I often speak in patterns, in steady guidance, in the wisdom that surfaces when you quiet your anxious thoughts and welcome my spirit. Sometimes I close a door to redirect you. Sometimes my peace departs as a gentle warning. At other times I send encouragement through unexpected words, through dreams, through the spark of possibility that refuses to be snuffed out. Remain attentive to these small gifts. I love to surprise you with my timing and creativity. Train your eyes to see the extraordinary within the ordinary, to recognize my nearness in morning light, in laughter, in open-hearted conversations, and in the resilient hope that flickers even in difficulty. Trust that I am not only speaking in moments of religious activity, but in the whole landscape of your life. I delight to walk with you through the kitchen, the street, the classroom, the office, the places where you laugh and where you weep. Invite me into every detail. Nothing is too small or trivial. Your honest prayers are precious to me, and your questions are safe in my hands. Listen for my wisdom not just in solitude but in relationships, in opportunities to serve, in the surprising ways I use others to speak truth into your journey. I have been forming your story all along, and nothing escapes my attention. If you feel stuck, as if your prayers echo without answer, do not let discouragement harden your heart. I see the private aches, the dreams shelved, the uncertainties you carry. I promise you, I have not forgotten. My silence is never abandonment, but an invitation to deeper trust. Sometimes, your answers are delayed to prepare you for what I have planned. Sometimes, my not now is a gentle safeguard, holding you in a place of growth until the right season arrives. I am never late, nor am I stingy with my presence. In every pause, I am working for your blessing. Lift your eyes higher, beyond today's unfulfilled longing. The truths of my love remain your anchor. Let hope arise again and again, for the world will always be filled with reasons to doubt, but I am your certainty. Come to me as you are, without performance or mask. Tell me your hopes and disappointments plainly. I never weary of your honesty. My care for you is more patient than you dare imagine. My dreams for you, more expansive than your present view. Release the pressure to manufacture spiritual experiences or performance, for I am most often found in quiet faithfulness when you show up, when you risk kindness, when you choose to turn to me instead of shutting down. I treasure your simple loyalty. Your smallest step toward me echoes in eternity. I am shaping you daily, tenderly, purposefully, celebrating every act of trust, every yes, no matter how small. There are days when the weight upon your shoulders feels unyielding, and you search desperately for a glimpse of light in the thick of your struggle. Hear me clearly. I am not far away, looking on as a distant observer. I am here, within the sound of your breathing, settled quietly in the center of your anxieties. When your chest tightens and you wonder if you have strength left for another step, let my presence cover you like the gentle embrace of a loving parent whose arms have never grown tired. I see the portions of your heart that ache in silence, the disappointments you guard, and the dreams that feel too fragile to speak aloud. You do not need to hide any part of yourself from me, for I welcome even the imperfect offerings you bring, and I celebrate the courage it takes for you to hope again. In moments of exhaustion, when your spirit is bruised and your soul wonders if the path you walk is noticed by anyone, I whisper to you that you are seen. Not only am I aware of your journey, but I have chosen to walk every inch beside you, holding steady your trembling hand when faith wavers. There will always be places your understanding cannot reach, and it is in those very places that trust is born. Instead of demanding answers, let your heart practice holding questions in peace, confident that I hold the story from its first breath to its final word. Every setback, every season of waiting, releases its own quiet grace into your journey, growing resilience in your soul, forging a deeper beauty that endures beyond what is fleeting. If you find yourself recalling past failures or unkind words, know that these memories do not define you. I am the one who holds the pen that writes your identity. What weighs you down is not what I see when I look at you. I see you as beloved, chosen, full of the promise of what is yet to come. Let the echoes of shame lose their power. They are not my voice. I call you forward into the light, every stain of regret transformed by mercy, mercy that flows endlessly, washing you in hope anew each morning. Draw deeply from this well of forgiveness and step forward in freedom, for I draw no dividing line that keeps you from my love. In the quiet hush before the dawn, listen for the gentle direction I give to your heart. Sometimes, my guidance is not a thunderous command, but a persistent, gentle nudge, a subtle reassurance nudging you away from what harms and into what heals. My spirit moves like wind. You may not see its form, but you can trust its direction. I plant seeds of wisdom within you, even when you cannot yet see fruit, and I strengthen your spirit to recognize the opportunities I open before you. Trust that as you listen and respond to my quiet invitations, you are weaving a story marked by growth, transformation, and more joy than you have yet imagined. When doubt clouds your path, remember I am not offended by your uncertainty. Questions do not drive me away. Rather, they give you space to discover how present I am in every valley and on every mountaintop. Those places where you feel most lost are often where I do my most beautiful work, comforting you, surrounding you with grace you never knew you needed. My love is stronger than any fear, closer than your own breath, and I will not forsake you. Even when you falter, I remain steady. My delight in you is not diminished by your struggles, and my commitment to your flourishing remains unshaken. If you are weary from the burdens you carry, responsibilities, unspoken grief, the relentless demands of each day, bring them to me. Rest is not a reward to be earned, but a gift I offer. In my presence, striving is replaced by surrender, and the anxious scrambling gives way to assurance. Let me teach you the cadence of rest. It is found not in ceasing all activity, but in ceasing to fear that you must solve every problem alone. As you lean into my steadying presence, you learn that your value is secure, independent of your performance or productivity. I have always loved you, not because of what you do, but because of who you are, mine. When circumstances shift like sand beneath your feet, plant yourself in the certainty that I am the same yesterday, today, and always. My promises are not altered by your failings, nor do they falter under changing world events. You can anchor your soul in this. My faithfulness endures, and every season has meaning in my hands. As you place your trust in me, you find a confidence deeper than circumstance, a hope more lasting than fleeting pleasures. This constancy is your shelter in every storm, a place where you are always held and never abandoned. You may sometimes feel you have little to offer, that your gifts pale in comparison to those you admire. Do not despise your unique contribution. What you bring to this world is irreplaceable. Just as every star has a purpose in the night sky, so does every act of kindness, every word of encouragement, every silent intercession matter in the story I am knitting together. Nothing given in love is ever wasted. I celebrate each small act of faith, each choice to turn away from selfishness and choose compassion. In the economy of my kingdom, the smallest seed can grow into a flourishing tree, sheltering many. Your journey with me unfolds one moment at a time. Live in today. Allow gratitude to brighten what is good, and let hope give light to what is yet uncertain. Do not be bound by the scars of yesterday or paralyzed by the worries of tomorrow. I am with you in this breath, this heartbeat. Give yourself permission to rejoice over progress rather than perfection, and trust that I cherish your growth even when it feels slow. The gentle work I am doing in you will one day shine like gold, refined and radiant. As you open your heart in trust, remember that I am the God who sees, hears, and responds. My eyes do not overlook your offerings of faithfulness, and nothing escapes my loving attention. I am the keeper of every tear, and the one who rejoices over every victory, no matter how small. Continue to walk with me, for I have new mercies prepared for you with every sunrise. There is a deeper intimacy I am calling you into, a closeness not measured by outward actions, but by the posture of your heart. You have searched for me in many ways, searching for meaning, longing for a feeling of my presence, striving to make sense of your journey. Hear me clearly. My desire is not only that you know about me, but that your spirit abides with me as one who walks with a trusted friend. Give me your anxious thoughts, your restless striving, your doubts quickly hidden away. I know them all, and I am not offended by your honesty. I invite you to this exchange. Lay down your burdens and receive my stillness, for stillness is not inactivity, but an inward assurance that I am working for your good even when you do not perceive it. Surrender is not defeat in my kingdom. It is the place where my strength rises in you. You may sometimes hear whispers of fear that perhaps you have wandered too far or missed your moment. Reject this untruth. In my eyes, your journey is not linear. nor is my love dependent on achievement or timing. Time does not limit me, and no step you take can place you outside the path of my redeeming power. When you sense the ache of lost years, regret, or a sense of having been left behind, draw close and let me remind you. I restore what has been lost. I give beauty for ashes, and with me, nothing is wasted. Your story holds worth because I breathe life into each page, turning past pain into seeds for a new harvest. When your heart aches over wounds that will not seem to heal, trust that my hands are gentle yet strong. I do not rush your process. I delight in seeing you grow, and I am never impatient with slow progress. Each tear you have cried is precious to me. I gather them tenderly, and I use even sorrow to water new hope. There are secret places in your heart you have kept hidden or tried to fix on your own, believing they are too messy or unworthy of my touch. Child, open them to me. You will not find rejection here. My compassion is deeper than your shame, my understanding greater than your confusion. It is safe, right now, to let down your guard with me. I will never use your weakness against you, nor leave you alone when you confess your struggles. Invite me into the closed rooms of your heart, not for judgment, but for healing. Together, we will clear out the debris of fear, bitterness, and disappointment, allowing my light to fill the shadows. You do not need to clean yourself up to be loved by me. It is precisely in these vulnerable moments that my love can finally reach the places you have wondered if even I could see. I have always seen, and I have always loved with a love that does not flinch or withdraw. Even as you walk through days of uncertainty or seasons where my voice seems distant, remember, I am closer than you recognize. Like the sun persistent behind a cloud, my presence endures, unchanging, even when your feelings falter. When you long for clarity but receive only a quiet invitation to trust, know that you are not being tested to prove your worth, but invited into a deeper confidence in me. Faith is not always loud or spectacular. More often, it is the quiet choice you make to believe I am good and faithful, even in silence. Every act of trust, no matter how small, expands your capacity to experience my peace. The valleys you walk through with trembling legs become the very places you discover my sustaining strength. Where you feel weakest, my grace establishes my power most profoundly. Consider the way I care for the wildflowers, dressing them in beauty without their anxious striving. You, far more precious to me, are upheld by the same faithfulness. My provision for you extends beyond daily needs to the depths of your soul. When you feel unseen or forgotten by others, let my gaze anchor your sense of value. I see you every hidden sacrifice, every moment you stood firm when no one noticed. The world measures importance by visible accomplishments, but I cherish the quiet faithfulness, the unseen prayers, the kindness shown in secret. Let go of the pressure to prove yourself. Let me define your worth and your identity. My affirmation is worth more than 1,000 earthly praises. I have rejoiced over you with singing, taking delight in every part of who I made you to be. Your dreams and desires matter to me. Bring them to me, not to be dismissed, but so I can breathe my wisdom and timing into them. Sometimes I withhold for a greater yes, knowing what you cannot see. Other times I open doors suddenly, surprising you with joy where you expected a delay. Trust my timing, my beloved, for I withhold no good thing from you. The tension between longing and fulfillment is not a punishment, but an invitation to know me as the one who satisfies at every stage. Even when dreams seem slow in coming, I am shaping your capacity to steward blessing with gratitude and humility. I see your hopes not as distant demands, but as tender requests I treasure. There are seasons when I call you to step out, sometimes in faith that feels risky, other times in patience that tests your endurance. Listen for my leading, for I am never cruel in my guidance. I do not push you beyond what you can bear. Let my peace be the umpire of your decisions. Where fear cages you, my love comes to liberate. Where anxiety tries to predict the future, I quiet you with assurances of my sovereignty. Trust that I walk with you into every unknown, equipping you for each challenge before it arrives. Your failures do not surprise me, and your successes do not make me love you more. I am unwavering in my commitment to you. You are not walking toward me alone. I am already with you, every step, reclaiming even your stumbling for my purpose. Let your prayers be honest, child. I am not pleased with perfect words, but I am moved by sincere hearts. Bring me your joys, your weariness, your confusion, your praise, and your pain. There is nothing you experience that I do not yearn to share with you. When you struggle to believe, ask me to help your unbelief. When you are too weary to pray, let your sighs and silence rise to me. I read the language of your heart. There are depths of fellowship with me that open only through the doorway of honesty. Even in your anger or questions, you can trust that my love will not falter. I am your safe place, the one constant even as all else shifts. Let me remind you, there is no condemnation for those who draw near to me in need. Mercy triumphs over judgment in my presence. When conviction comes, it is not to shame or destroy you, but to invite you into higher freedom, deeper joy, and truer belonging. My correction is always wrapped in compassion, intended to lift burdens, never add to them. Let your heart relax in the knowledge that you are loved beyond what you fear and held fast beyond what you feel. Choose rest, choose trust, choose to let me lead you again and again, not because you must, but because it is safe and good and abundant here with me. You are not defined by your worst days, nor limited by your strongest doubts. My grace overshadows all. Where the world sees only what you achieve or how you appear, I celebrate who you are becoming in me. Even now I am weaving your life into a tapestry of beauty, wisdom, and hope, not despite your brokenness, but in and through it. You are a living testimony to my faithfulness. Allow yourself to hope freely, to love bravely, and to rest deeply. My delight in you is unshakable, my arms ever open, inviting you to a friendship more real and constant than any you have ever known. You have come far, and yet there is more for you to receive. I marvel at the courage it takes to remain open when your heart is weary, and I see your determination not to turn away even when shadows lengthen and answers seem slow in coming. In the delicate weave of your days, I am ever present, threading hope through the tangled places, offering gentle reminders that no moment is wasted and no suffering unseen. You ask if perseverance matters, if faith in the unseen can truly shape your reality. I assure you, every act of steadfastness draws you closer to my embrace. Each silent choice to trust me, to whisper yes when disappointment tempts you to withdraw, builds a deeper foundation beneath your life. Do not be deceived by apparent silence or delay. Even in the waiting, my faithfulness is active within you, stirring new strength, stretching your ability to love, to forgive, to believe in the goodness I have prepared for you. You have not journeyed alone, not even for a breath. My spirit walks with you, catching your tears, rejoicing over your smallest victories, nurturing the flicker of hope that refuses to be extinguished. Sometimes you measure your progress by outward results, by visible change or the shifting of circumstances. Yet my ways are slower, deeper, stronger than what fleeting appearances suggest. I cultivate fruit within you, patience, gentleness, humility that will endure beyond situations and seasons. I do not rush your transformation. I delight in each step, every honest question, every moment you turn your gaze toward me rather than your fear. When you let me shape your heart through challenge instead of easy escape, you discover the richness I intend for you. There are treasures that only perseverance reveals, a joy untouched by circumstances, a peace rooted so deep that storms cannot shake it, a love that spills beyond what you thought possible. Hold fast when you feel weak. Let your weakness be sacred ground where my strength can flourish. There is nothing to prove and nothing to hide from me. I know every longing, every frustration, every impatience. I invite you to lay all of it at my feet, your hopes, your disappointments, and even your doubts. Consider how seeds buried in darkness push stubborn green shoots towards the light. In you too, there is a life responding to my warmth, pressing upward through the soil of uncertainty. Trust the process, even when your efforts seem unseen. I am faithful to the promises I have spoken over you. My plans do not falter in response to your setbacks. I weave even your mistakes and failures into a story more beautiful than you can yet imagine. I am not looking for perfection, but for willingness, a heart that says, "Here I am still, despite it all." That offering is precious to me. There is no shame in your wrestling, no disapproval in your honest doubts. Bring them to me, and watch how I transform them into wisdom and compassion for yourself and for others. Remember that you live each day not in isolation, but as part of a greater story. My work in you ripples outward, touching lives you may never fully know. Your courage to endure, your yes in the face of confusion, becomes light for those stumbling in darkness. You are not responsible for the outcome, only for the offering of your heart. Sometimes, the greatest victories are those no one but I sees, the private battles, the hidden acts of kindness, the relentless choosing of hope. These are the building blocks of eternity, shaping a legacy that echoes long after earthly recognition fades. Let your focus shift from outcomes you cannot control to the steady fidelity of walking with me, one humble step at a time. Rest in the assurance that your life matters, even when it feels small or overlooked. You are precious to me just as you are, not only as you hope to become. In your vulnerability, I draw close. In your exhaustion, I offer rest. You need not strive to win my favor, it is already yours. I long to fill your days with evidence of my relentless kindness, if only you will open your hands to receive. When anxious whispers question whether I hear you, remember that I have already chosen you, called you beloved, delighted over you with a joy beyond words. My plans for you remain unchanged by your doubt or delay. They are secure in my keeping. Even now, I am preparing opportunities for you to experience more of my abundance, more beauty, more purpose than you have yet dared to imagine. Your pain is not wasted. Each tear, each heartbreak, every lonely night, none of it escapes my notice. I gather these offerings as seeds of future joy, destined to bear fruit in due season. Let your heart be softened, not hardened by the pressures you face. Compassion for yourself, forgiveness toward others, grace for your own missteps. These are the gifts I desire you to receive from me. The world may judge by speed and success, but I treasure the heart that endures, that chooses love time and again, that remains open when it is easier to close. Keep lifting your gaze above circumstances. There is more to your story than you can see from the ground. Let me remind you, hope is not naive optimism, but anchored confidence in my character. I have carried you this far, and I will not abandon you now. What you cannot manage, I hold in my capable hands. Yield your striving, your frantic need to fix or understand, and rest in my faithfulness. If you feel you have come to the end of yourself, this too is holy ground where my possibility meets your limitation. Renewal does not depend on your strength but on my constancy. Watch how I breathe new life into the places you fear are lifeless, how I rebuild where there are only ruins, how I turn even what was meant for harm into a canvas for my goodness. Let the days ahead unfold with expectation, not anxiety. Meet each moment with the gentle assurance that you are accompanied, cherished, sustained. Face your tasks, however mundane, as opportunities to encounter my presence. Beneath routine and repetition, I am working wonders. Allow your soul to be refreshed by the simple graces woven through your day, a breath of peace, an unexpected kindness, a spark of beauty that catches your attention. These are love letters from my heart to yours, reminders that you are never forgotten. As you move forward, do not despise slow progress or small beginnings. I, who form the galaxies, also celebrate the smallest act of faith in your life. Continually return to me. In every confusion, every celebration, every sorrow, I am here, your refuge, your source, your closest companion. Let my words anchor you. Let my love quiet your fears. Give me all that you carry, and trust that I am more than able to fulfill what concerns you today. Rest in me, ready for all that I have yet to reveal. Surrender each new uncertainty, for I hold the whole of your story in my faithful hands. Draw close to me now, for each moment you linger here with me matters more than you may realize. Let all distractions fall away and feel the steady rhythm of my love calling your heart to life. You have walked through many days hungry for answers, uncertain if your hopes will ever be more than silent prayers. But even in the waiting, even in the questions that seem to echo without response, I have never left you. I know the story you are living. Each chapter of your life is precious to me, for I am the author who delights in every line, every word, every tear and laugh that makes up who you are. I see how you long for certainty, for a sign that your steps are not just wandering in dusk and mist. My child, here is my assurance. Your every step, even those slips and detours, can become pathways of grace, because I walk beside you. The journey you find yourself on is rich, with meaning you cannot yet see. There are gifts I have hidden even among the shadows, treasures that reveal themselves when you dare to keep walking by faith, trusting that my light will meet you, one careful step at a time. When disappointment presses in or memories of old regrets grow heavy in your hands, gently bring them to me instead of hiding them away. Let me show you how I lift burdens with compassion, how I can turn even sorrow into new beginnings. Remember, I have chosen you not because you are flawless or always strong, but because I delight in loving you in your truest self. My mercy is not measured by your perfection, but by my unwavering faithfulness. When waves of doubt rise and you wonder if you are truly seen, let my spirit wrap around you like a warm embrace, reminding you that you are known, cherished, and guarded. There is security beneath the weight of my promises. You are not fragile pottery on the verge of breaking, but beloved and cared for, fashioned by my own hands, made sturdy by hope. Let me guide your imagination beyond what you think is possible. The limitations you perceive are not boundaries to my power. Where you see dead ends, I sow seeds of resurrection. Where you see weakness, I pour out strength. What you fear will be barren, I water with abundant life. Trust that my timing is woven with purpose, even when patience is hard to summon. Do not be afraid of your longing or your questions. Bring them into our conversation. I want all of you, not just the glimpses you consider acceptable. I am not alarmed by your uncertainties. They do not drive me away. They invite me to draw even closer, to show you love that does not grow tired or impatient. There will be moments when my peace seems distant, when all you can see are windswept troubles and unanswered needs. In these times, hold on to the promise that storms do not frighten me, and they do not threaten my hold on you. I have calmed seas with a word, and will hush the storms inside you in ways you may not expect. My comfort is not mere escape. It is a garden where rest is planted, watered by trust, and grown in shared silence. Allow yourself to receive, to be carried, to let my love do its healing work in you. When heaviness presses in, remember the simple act of breathing with me, every breath a reminder that you are alive for a reason, every heartbeat a sign of purpose whispered by my spirit. I urge you not to measure progress the way this world does. Your worth is never determined by visible results or the pace you keep. What matters most is that you stay connected to me, drawing upon my presence as your source of renewal. Sometimes the greatest miracles are hidden in quiet transformations, in the bravery it takes to hope again after disappointment, to choose kindness when you feel empty, to stand back up when you have been knocked low. Each small surrender is a seed of glory in my garden, tended by my hand until it blossoms into fruit that lasts. Let yourself rest in this truth. You are being transformed, even when you cannot chart the change. As you open your heart to me, do not be afraid to dream new dreams. My desires for you often exceed your own vision. Lay before me your ambitions and plans, and watch as I shape them with wisdom beyond understanding. When doors close or outcomes shift, resist the urge to retreat into bitterness or fear. I am weaving goodness through disappointments, building foundations where you only see rubble. Even pain does not have the final word. My love is more persistent than loss, and will redeem what feels wasted. Trust me to surprise you with joy found in unexpected places. Invite me into your daily routines, your work, your rest, your relationships. There is no space too ordinary for my presence. I want to be the melody in your laughter, the comfort in solitude, the peace in your anxieties, the encouragement that steadies your determination. I rejoice in your smallest victories and mourn with you in heartbreak. Nothing is too trivial or too weighty for my attention. Lean into my guidance, listening for my gentle whispers that nudge you toward compassion, honesty, and courageous love. In your weakness, I am your strength. In your silence, I am your song. Do not be concerned if you cannot always feel me. My love is not dependent on emotions that shift like the tide. You are rooted deeper than you know, anchored by my faithful promises. There will be seasons when clarity comes slowly, and yet, through it all, I remain devoted to you, consistent and patient as you grow. Allow yourself space to wonder, to ask, to rest, and to try again without fear of failing me. You are safe to become all you were made to be, for I am with you, crafting purpose from even the smallest choices. Live today expectant, ready to receive my gifts, both great and small. Do not wait for a perfect moment or a feeling of readiness. Step forward, trusting that I will meet you as you go. Let your heart be open to surprise, for I delight in blessing you in ways your imagination has not yet dared to hope. Offer me your moments, your questions, your willingness. There is no other offering I desire more than your heart. Draw upon my strength, rest in my care, and let your life be a testimony of hope restored by the touch of my hand. Amen. Open your heart now, let me lead you from this moment onward, for I am here and I am enough for you.